Can't believe I'm regretting not watching more isekai anime. How the heck do I get back to the real world? Oh.
Welcome to the Monkey Show. Hopefully, you guys are able to hear me out there all right. Today is Saturday in New Zealand and Friday in America. Yeah. We always live in the future, so it's a bit crazy out here trying to work out schedules with people from the Northern Hemisphere. Today, it's all about joy and enjoyment and happiness and pop culture, music, and so much more, right? I think you can only have so much of the negative before you go, hey, man, I got to have some good stuff in my life. So this is the whole new format that we'll do with my co-host, Tim.
I am so sorry. So much has been happening lately. I spaced. That's on me, bro.
Wait, what?
Don't casually say dark stuff like that.
No, I just I'll tell you after the show. But
I know I fully understand because we've been talking about you moving and with upcoming gigs and stuff like that. So I'm like, he'll be here when he's here, and if he's not, it's okay because
yeah.
You're busy, man. Like that's what I mean. Like today's Friday for you, and it's Saturday for me. So
Yeah.
those things. So how you been?
I'm alive. I'm alive.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Which is always good, right? 6 foot above ground is always a good day.
Yes. I did get page 35 today, so Sid is working
Nice.
on page 36.
How many pages all up for this issue?
44.
Nice. So you got what? About another 6 to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 35 and 36 are already paid for, and half of 37. So we should be pretty. We should be further along.
Well, we're going to be looking at your work as well as what I've got coming up, and actually some other stuff as well, because it's the art show, right? So we're going to
Right.
look at the two cons. Hey, I've lost that friggin' X Trip or whatever that
Retro X.
Retro X. That's what it's called. I was like, what is it called? So I will Idaho Retro X. So I've got that set up because I had the Boomtown set up, which is happening next weekend if I remember right.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, man. So let me, before I go to actually, let's go watch this and then we'll go to Retro X. I mean,
Okay.
Boomtown and then Retro X. So this is from a channel that I support as a subscriber, as a member. And this is Wyatt's Metal. He's just made got 100,000 subscribers. He's been, he's a vocalist for a metal band and all that. But he does really cool live stream and little short metal videos. But this is him, right? Going to get an Iron Maiden ticket.
Hello, sir. Can I get one ticket for tomorrow night? I hope this job is paying you well. Do you think you could do like just a small initial on the wristband? Thank you so much.
You mean tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Can I just do a quick? Awesome. Thank you. I'll see you.
So he missed out on the horns and the face, but you know who that is, right? I mean, it's on the screen, but
Who was that? I don't. I just know he was getting Iron Maiden tickets.
and that was the lead singer for like almost 40 years of Iron Maiden, Bruce Dickinson.
Oh, that was okay. Yeah, the short guy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in that time that he's been a lead guitar, singer and also a solo musician himself, right? What was it like? He did in the 90s. He did an album called Millionaire or something like. I can't remember the exact name, but something Tattooed Millionaire, something like that. So not only is he a vocalist, right, for probably the hugest band in the world, right? But he's also a pilot, flies the Maiden plane. He's a fencing champion, frontman, one of the biggest bands, of course, cancer survivor, and author. Right?
Oh,
but
okay.
now he's selling tickets. So I thought that was
it was probably kind of for like the fans.
exactly, dude. This is why Iron Maiden has such a huge following. And the other thing is they're not like in the hardcore scene where like rah, 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 and they're not in the scene, So they're kind of the middle of the road classic heavy metal that survived. I was listening to Iron Maiden just while I was getting ready, and with the one of the earliest releases, and just listening to the band from where they were to where they are, man, you'd think like, oh, that's a whole new band, but when you listen to the chord formations, the lead guitar breaks, and just double bass strumming that Steve Harris does, who's a bassist, which it's like a running bass thing he does, and it's just you can tell it's the same band because it's just the stylized. But over time, people change, right? Over time, people's art change, and music changes. But but they still have the core sound, and that's what makes them great. I think having that core sound.
I only admit that I like only two Iron Maiden songs.
All right.
Run for the Hills and Passchendaele, which is about it's about a World War I battle.
Right.
They made a movie out of it. Basically, it's a cemetery now for soldiers. But yeah, I mean, the battle was so intense it literally leveled the entire town.
Oh, Okay. Let me see if I can bring up a trailer for that. Like, I mean, Passchendaele. So is it called Passchendaele or
Let me look it up. You discuss among yourself. Plunge cast is neither a plunge nor a cast. Discuss.
oh, here we go. Let me put this up. So here is well, Plunge Comics is Plunge Comics. So on this stream we will look at Passchendaele. So this is how it's spelled. So I didn't even realize this is how it's spelled. So this is a scene from Passchendaele. I guess.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah.
There's not very many World War One movies.
Hmm.
And I only discovered it because they took the song and they put it to. They made a video out of the clips from the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So this is from. Sorry, dude. This is from Johnny's War Stories.
Yeah.
And talking about Johnny's War Stories. So if you're like me and you like Garth Ennis, you've basically read his War Stories comics. Have you? And so if you've read those, you know that he's really does good, crazy research on, and he's got a passion for, writing war stories and comics. And man, his war stories are really, really, really good. If you've never if you've never read them, I recommend reading Garth Ennis's War. I think let me see if I can find out what they're called. Garth Ennis War Stories, and then we can look at that after this. So here we are. Let me just go full screen with this. So this is from the actual movie Passchendaele, right? So let me put it there. So I've never heard of it. And you're talking about like there aren't that many World War One story.
Yeah, it's all World War II or Vietnam War stories.
So Gallipoli for New Zealand is one of the greatest movies, wartime movies, because it has to do with our soldiers and Anzacs, as a formation of the Anzacs. So that round about every year for Anzac, which is our Veterans Day, we play Gallipoli is played on New Zealand state TV and stuff like that. And I've watched it like probably 3-4 times as a child growing up. So I'll bring that up. That was made in 1981, and they also did a miniseries in 2015. So I'll bring that up in a minute. But let's have a look at this battle scene from Passchendaele. Let me bring myself down here, bring us down to get a bigger screen.
Can't shoot me. You fucking idiot! Hold it! They're all one home, Sergeant! Steady! 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 Fucking fucker. Now! Hey, we're up. I sent you a support company, 60 men. You pulled out a whole fucking battalion? Jesus. 60 men, it's impossible. They'll be overrun, and we'll be overrun. We have to withdraw. We don't withdraw a fucking inch. We don't give ground, we don't lose an objective, and we don't give up a single shot. But Colonel, if the enemy breaks through, we'll be in danger. Lieutenant Hanson, you're acting too IT. Let's go. Here we go.
Hand to hand, face to face, combat.
Yep.
And now all you had to do is computer screens.
Yep.
And I think it was like the 90s when we learned that, like, you know, you could use computers. And then I think in 2000s we were like, oh, you can use drones. And now it's like, well, you can just shoot ballistic missiles from another country to another country, you know, across the water to the other side of the world or something.
Well, I mean, like now they're saying Iran's got a bunch of drones, and they got to find out how many they actually have.
Yeah.
I mean, they already
So-
destroyed a drone.
Sorry, Karen.
They already destroyed a drone factory.
Yeah. And let me go to Gallipoli. So, as I mentioned earlier, you know, you're talking about World War One movies. This is our Veterans Day movie thing that we have. And so the story is about two Australian sprinters face the brutal realities of war when they're sent to fight in the Gallipoli campaign in Turkey during World War One. So Peter Weir, he's a very well-known director now. This is like 46 years ago. Oh yeah, Mel Gibson is in this, by the way, guys. All right, Mad Max himself. So if you look at, and this is the other thing about the show, is that we're going to look at the people behind art, right, as well. So, you know, like he's here, this Master and Commander Beyond, is it Beyond the Other Side of the World? I think that's what that is from. So that's another Kiwi actor. Well, Mel Gibson isn't Kiwi, but like Russell Crowe he moved over there when he was young. So Master and Commander Witness was one of his. I remember watching Witness. Did you remember watching Witness, dude? Or was it before your time?
I don't. I've never heard of that movie.
Dude, it is an awesome movie.
Is that Harrison Ford?
Yes, it is. I watched it on VHS with my dad. So it's about an Amish community, right? So a young boy, while he's in the bathroom taking a leak, witnesses a brutal murder, right? And so the detective is sent to protect him at the Amish community. And I learned a lot about the Amish community people while watching this movie. It's
1985. I was born 1979, so that'd make me
not born.
that'd make me 6 years old. I was 6 when that movie came out.
Well, you're probably as old as a kid in this movie then at that point.
Probably.
So yeah. But Witness is an awesome movie. I highly recommend it. It is so, it's a crime drama, cop drama, right? Like as they say here. So, but it's it gives you an insight into, people who live a different way without electricity, power, and all that. And it kind of made me really, I mean, for us back in Fiji at that time, we didn't have power, right? I think we were just getting it, or when I was a kid, around 85, 84. And what was I was like about 12 years old. Yeah, I was 12 years old then. So, yeah. So, do you want to watch this? Let's watch this trailer, right? And then we'll go back to Gallipoli. Just a bit of a different change to the war thing.
Hey, man. They didn't know there was a witness.
Carter didn't tell me about the eyewitness.
Yeah, Amish kid, 8 years old.
A man of force.
I'm a police officer, ma'am. I have to talk to the boy.
A woman of faith.
You don't understand. We have nothing to do with your laws.
Yes, I do. Your son's a material witness to a homicide.
Worlds apart.
Now you have a witness.
Yeah, now I got a witness.
John, what's going on, man? What is happening?
You said we would be safe in Philadelphia.
Well, I was wrong.
You left with the Amish woman, right?
If they find me, they find the boy.
You bring this man to our house with his gun of the hand. You bring fear to this house.
Everyone has an idea about you and the Englishman.
They're looking for you.
I have done nothing against the rule of the Ordnance.
Nothing? Maybe not yet.
We know where you are.
Harrison Ford and Kelly McGillis. Witness.
And that's the great thing about these classic movies, man. They just told you a story, right?
Right. Just
And
enough
it
to
was
get you interested.
yeah, and it was up to you to decide if you liked it or not. If you didn't like it, you moved on. Now it's like you got to write an essay and like 10-page
They want you to
live
detail.
streams,
Yeah.
10-hour live streams about how much you hated that movie. I loved Harrison Ford as a kid, like just watching every movie
Yeah,
he was
and
in.
they took a chance on something new. It's not a rehashed idea.
Yeah. Let me see who's this. I think it's based on a book, if I remember right.
If you liked Witness, now you can see Witness in space.
Yeah, it doesn't say it's based on a book, but I mean Peter Weir, like we were talking about Peter Weir, right? Such a amazing director, and like you said, they just took a chance, right?
Yeah,
Dead Poet Society, dude.
And I like to point out that Star Wars and Damnation Alley were filmed in the same location.
Were they?
Yeah. Damnation Alley is a forgotten sci-fi movie or a dystopian movie. Yeah. But
okay, I'm gonna have to look that up. Oh, actually, we'll have a look at the trailer for that. But the other thing I didn't realize was that Peter Weir also did Truman Show, right?
Yeah.
Which has become now reality for all of us because it's reality TV. Talking about which, I saw. I don't watch it, but like something came up on my homepage where it was like that fishbowl thing. So there was some like foreign, and I think it might have been like a European or South American idea where they put where they put a webcam in the house and people are just like in that room, they do whatever they do and you watch it. This is basically like based around Truman Show, right? That idea.
That's just as weird as that Japanese show.
What's that?
Oh, there was a Japanese show game. It was a game show where they put this guy in a room and he had to win all these contests.
Right.
But it was actually all like make believe, and he didn't know it. So they basically just messed with his brain. They changed locations on him, but he had to do it all naked or something.
Right.
Yeah, it was weird.
It
was on those like weird programs that you can't believe exist. Countdown. Yeah.
So if you've never seen, and this is another thing, right? So if you've never seen Truman Show, please watch it. Just watch it.
I have seen Truman Show.
Yeah. Yeah, for our chat, right? For our viewers, like, please, if you have never seen it, go and watch these classics, man. Because this is what forms our, today, what other directors are going back and going, oh, I want my movie to look like this and such and this is the concept and so on. But like, this movie is written by Andrew Niccol, right? Andrew Niccol is a Kiwi, New Zealander, right? Who lives in Britain. And so he's written like a whole bunch of stuff. Like, so one of my favorites is all this. This is all my favorite. Gattaca, Truman Show, and I think the other one he wrote, don't know about the host, but Lord of War, right? Terminal, Sim 1, right? Sim 1's one of my other favorite ones where we like, AI. So this is like 24 years ago this was made, and it's about a film producers, right? We're talking about later on. I'm going to show you something about AI and the ruling in Australia about AI and stuff, AI art and so on. So this one here, right, 24 years ago, movie about AI. Thing is, like, he actually wrote and directed this one. So people are going like, well, a couple of years ago, oh no, AI is going to take my job as an actor and everything. And people are like, yeah, it's good because then we don't have to listen to you about talking about your ideology, how much money you got to get paid, wow, and just do your work. So what happens here is with this director, right, producer, he's got an actress who just pulls goes, oh, I'm not going to do this. I want to do that. He's like, oh, I put so much money into this. And then somebody comes and goes, hey, I got this technology where we can make, this actress who can, you can make, do whatever you want, right? She tell her to act like this, she will act like this. So if you've never seen someone, man, go see someone. And I think there's the thing about like these movies, they're 20 years old, but they're so good, Tim. They're so good. The concepts, the ideas behind them.
You know what the funny thing is? Most of our favorite movies were, most of the iconic movies were flops to begin with.
Right. Like Simone was basically, a flop because, at 6, but like if you really think about it, 24 years later, you're like, wait, we're doing that now, right? Instead of using actors, we're like just making AI videos with people acting out what we want. So back to this Gallipoli movie, and we'll finish off with this one with the war thing. So this is a historical epic, right? So it is one of those ones where it starts off like about these two runners, Olympic runners, whatever have you, and then their journey all the way to war. So I recommend watching this if you've never seen this movie. It's like I said, it's played every year in New Zealand, just about. I haven't watched TV forever because I'm hooked up to the internet, and if I want to watch something, it's just online, right? But we used to every year, man. Anzac, that's Australia and New Zealand armed combat, armed corps, yeah. Okay. Oops, did I get my volume right? Let's get the volume up a bit more.
From a place you never heard of comes a story you'll never forget. Gallipoli.
So that's from 1981. It's 45 years old, dude. And it's, like I said, it's, it's a movie that we in New Zealand and Australia, because it's about our brotherhood, right? I guess, and that's where the brotherhood of Anzac comes from for us in New Zealand, of our Army Corps and our veterans and stuff. And so you can see here, right? They're wearing these are Aussie versions of cowboy hats, right? The dusters. I think they're called the dusters. Going to war, and yeah, I highly recommend watching this. So it's World War I in Turkey. From running, from being a fast distance runner to war. So it's a really classic story. If you guys want to, I recommend watching because it just goes back to so far.
I'm 1 year older than that movie by 1 year. Not that it matters.
Wait, I thought you were 76. Oh no, oh that's right. You're 80 born, right?
79.
79.
Yeah. Oh, then that's 2 years. I'm 2 years older than that movie.
How many? Oh yeah, this was like it won many awards. I was going to say how many awards, right? So Best Cinematographer of the Year, 82. Best Film, AFI, I think that's Australia Film Institute. Best Director, Best Actor, Mel Gibson, right? 45 years ago, dude. He would have been like about 18, 20. And then also Best Actor in Lead Role, Mark Lee. And then, of course, Best Supporting Actor in a Lead Role, Bill Hunter. Look at that, man. The Writers Guild. That's for Aussie. Is it National Turkish Award? Look at that. Best Foreign Film. I think they had more awards. I'm not sure how it didn't make it into like the Oscars or anything like that. Maybe because it was about war, you know.
I don't know.
But yeah. There's always like that's why I don't watch Oscars or anything like that, man. It's like any award shows, they always make it political. So we did that one. Oh, I want to show you this little clip of just a bit of a music theme, right? Because art show, bit of music, bit of film, bit of comics, and so on. So this is Danny Sapko, and this is history of
I know that guy.
Yeah. So I saw this clip. I wanted to look more into this. And the reason for that is because we have a character in called a Fosse Grim in our Howler comic that's coming out soon on Kickstarter. And I had to find out what that because the Fosse Grims plays a fiddle, right? And the fiddle it's a fiddle, right? It's 4-string, whatever. It's almost like a violin, but you don't play it. Well, it's an early version of a violin, I guess. And so in the research of it, I was like, okay, what does it look like? And there's like, had to be 1700s because the story, early time is based around 1700s. And then we bring up to modern day. But so this came across, I was like, whoa, because I have a bass, right? I have a Jackson Matte Black Jackson bass. I've always wanted because of Megadeth back in when I was like 87 when I got into Megadeth. And I don't want to play guitar, but I wanted to play bass because of Cliff Burton from Megadeth, Metallica. And of course, also Primus, Les Claypool. So I was always into the bass, and that was the first instrument I ever bought. But I've owned like several guitars over the years as well. And so 3 years ago, I spent money to buy a bass, which I always wanted. I saved up, paid it off, and it's sitting right next to me here, right? And then to find out, like, this is the first bass ever made, as someone who, is into music and stuff, I thought this was cool to share, right? So let's check this out.
First bass guitar ever made, and this video might surprise you. Alright, I know what you're thinking. Leo Fender invented the electric bass in 1951, and Danny's gonna show off that one he borrowed that's one of the first 250 ever made again. Yeah, well, actually, in 1936, Paul Tutmark first released this invention to the public, the AudioVox 736, a 30-inch scale, 16-fretted electronic bass guitar. Unfortunately, the general public thought Tutmark was a complete tut job, and his invention never caught on, selling around 100 of his bass guitars in total. But he didn't actually call it a bass guitar, it was dubbed an electric bull fiddle. No wonder it didn't bloody sell. Imagine explaining that receipt to the wife. Remarkably, some of the original basses survive to this day, and here's that fella from Happy Gilmore to show you how it sounds.
Yeah, jackass.
This was the first bass guitar ever.
What do you think of that, man? Like the fret neck is so thin. It's like thin.
Bad.
It's actually thinner than my wrist, and my wrists are very thin.
I'm just saying it sounded kind of bad. I don't know.
I wonder if, yeah, but I mean, like, it didn't have any pickups, right? It didn't look like it had any.
This was the first.
So let me zoom out of this so I can see what. There we go. See the time code. Yeah, so there's no pickups. So I guess there's some sort of electronics underneath it that just picks up the sound on this, and that's probably why it sounds so bad. Because no magnetic, whatever you want to call it, electronic pickups there.
Fella from Happy Gilmore to show you how it sounds.
Yeah, jackass.
So you see that? So it's like, I think it's like the string and the electronics between those two is actually the sound pickup. It's weird because
yeah. I can
Have
see
you ever
that.
played it? Have you ever played the instruments, Tim?
I'll never tell.
All right. So before we move on, I want to talk about what's coming up next weekend, which is Boomtown Comic Con. And it's run by friends of mine. And we're getting my comic is being represented there. Incredible #1. And a couple Brazil?
Represent.
So next weekend, 2-day event. Is that Saturday, Sunday? What day is it for you guys? Because it's always going to be a different day to me. Yeah, so it's a Saturday, Sunday. Will it be Saturday, Sunday? I don't know. But it is that day, right? So 21st, 22nd. Please go check it out. If you're in the area, even if you're not, if you're outside the area, go hang out, pack up your bags, go do a day trip or a weekend trip. Go fill up that little town in Borgia, Texas, and, say that we sent you and say hello. So the people who are running this is Greg and Christy Harms. And I know Greg quite well because I've interviewed him quite a few times. I'm friends with him on Facebook, and I know him. What I would say like internet friend, but kind of like enough to know that we're personal good buddies, right? So you can get tickets. Let me see, how do you get tickets here? So you can get tickets. They're about $10 for one day, which is quite cheap, right? Lots of things to see there. $15 for 2 days. That's even cheaper, right? You save $5 if you go for 2 days. And kids, weekend pass, $5 for the whole weekend, right? And that is, of course, to encourage parents, to go along for both days with the kids so they can see everything, right? As much. But then again, under 5's free. 5 and under free. So you got the tickets here. And of course, ways of buying it. Now, featured guests. Here you've got Margot Bastolas, Lou Pizarro, Operation Repo, Guardians of the Galaxy, unavailable due to work. Of course, these are things about like when you have actors, things are always going to be a bit dicey because you don't know when they have to be called up. The agents have, basically if you're a contracted actor with an agent, your agent's out there every day trying to get your job. And so you don't know when you're just available no matter what. And so it's pretty tough to, for organizers to run that sort of stuff. And I understand because I've run a convention for 5 years, right? Oh yeah, we can come. And then you go, oh no, sorry, it's going to clash with something else. Oh man. And that same happens with volunteers, right? As well. Like they might be signed up and then they can't because something else comes up, like family emergency. You just can't, you just got to go, okay.
Like Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
You heard about what happened to him, right?
Was it diabetes or cancer?
He got cancer, yeah. So he had to cancel all his con appearances.
Yeah, and I think, and people would like, people who are understanding what I fully understand, and other people go, rah, 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 rah. And I think there's a thing that we've got an attitude where, well, you signed up, man, you got to do this, right? And but it's like, dude, when you're unhealthy, you're unhealthy. You got to think about yourself first, right?
Right.
So you got Power Rangers, Justin Nemo. Who is Justin Nemo?
I don't know.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, as a Power Ranger, so I'm not a Power Rangers fan, nor have I actually ever watched the Power Rangers movie.
My little brother was a huge Power Rangers fan back in the day.
Okay, So I've never watched the TV shows or anything like that, but I did watch the Power Rangers movie that came out a couple of years ago. Right? So as a segue to Justin Nemo, I hope this is the right one here. So you get to meet, you can bring out all your Power Ranger stuff and get it signed. This is the thing about actually, I guess when you go to conventions and with people there, you can put stuff there. And I was watching Renee Draws yesterday, Tim.
Oh yeah, she's great, isn't she?
She is. She's really is passionate about the work, and she's like, I was listening to her while I was washing dishes and cooking dinner and so on, but then I caught they were talking about writing and people being, a couple of weeks ago, I think, I'm not sure, but a couple of streams back, me and you talked about how people are too precious about their work, right? Where they don't want to show it to people. And so that was kind of the subject they had yesterday on their stream. So if you guys are interested, go check out Panel Breakers from Renee Draws yesterday. It was a good stream. Now, what I did find interesting, Tim, was that one of the, I'm not sure who it was, but somebody brought up The Boys, and I was like, it reminded me of when I went to a con in 2014 when Derek Robertson, the artist for The Boys, was here in New Zealand. And I'd spoken to him about 4 years earlier via Facebook, before I nuked at Facebook, which had about 800 followers or something. And I think that was my original Rising Sun Comics New Zealand page, I think that was. And I talked to Derek Robertson, and I, on there directly, I said, hey man, when you come to New Zealand, I'm going to rock up to the convention where you are, and I'll bring my box of The Boys and my porcelain statue of Spider Jerusalem from Transmetropolitan series, which is about 70 issues about a futuristic dystopian journalist, right, with a two-headed cat. And so when I said, I will. I said, I said, I'll rock up and I'll bring all this to you, and I want you to sign them all. And he said, I will. So when he did, bro, about 4 or 5 years later, I was there in line. I said, here it is. Do you remember me? And he goes, yeah, dude. So, and people are looking at me strange, and there he is, signing up, remarking, drawing things on it, and on my boys, drawing Huey on my boys, volume 1 hardcover, right? Because I wasn't able to get the first 5 volumes because issues, because they're already been printed. And he put in silver, he put Huey on there. It's one of a kind in the world, right? And I made sure that he signed it to me. So it's just to me. It's not to anybody. Nobody could buy it off me because it's got my name on it. And I used to do that with certain books, certain things, because I don't want to ever sell it. It's my precious. And this is the good thing about going to cons, right? Going to cons and meeting people you probably saw online, probably read their work, probably never met before, never had interaction to, but you know what? For the first time, you get to say, hey man, enjoyed your show, enjoyed your artwork. Now I want to just say, hey, how are you doing? Thank you for your for your art, for sharing your art, your talent and skills with us. So I think this is what I love about running conventions, is to meet people away from the internet, right? Face to face, and just, saying hello, having a bit of one or two words, whatever, in passing. I've had such great interactions with shows which I haven't run, right? So because usually when I'm running the shows myself, I'm I get tired, I get exhausted, I got to make sure everything's running on the day really well. So and plus, not only that, I want to spend money on the people that I've invited. So I'll go and spend $10, $20 on every, anything, that I find interesting. I'll just go, here, man, give me that as a way of like, even if they've paid me to come to the show as a guest or whatever, I'll still pay them because I think it's just the people spend a lot of times that they could be doing other things to put on these events, right? So I'm really grateful to Christy and Greg Harms in Borgia, Texas, from Third Empire Comics. I think it's Third Empire Comics, who are running this event, man. These are artists comics fans and artists running a convention. So do please go check it out. It's next weekend, Saturday, Sunday. It'll be worthwhile. This is the second time in a row. They did it last year, and they're doing it this year. Of course, not only are actors and so on, but there's going to be other guests as well. So you got where are we? There are going to be artists as well. Yep. So you got Joe Sontag and Lou Pizarro. Who else is here? Andrew Mangum. Is that how you spell that, man? Mangum? Jim?
Yeah, I'm looking. Mangum.
Mangum? Yeah, so...
Sounds like a euphemism.
Yeah. So you got I guess they're the two brothers, Gabriel and Andrew Mangum. Evil Ernie books, through, is it like Dynamite?
Chaos.
Alex Cooper. Yeah, Chaos, that's right.
Yeah.
Is it Dynamite Chaos or is it Chaos on its own?
I think it's Chaos. Was it Chaos something? Let me look that up.
Chaos Comics. Okay, you do that while I carry on with this. And of course, you've got Jake Goodman, Animaniacs artist. Oh gosh, I loved Animaniacs as a kid, dude.
Yeah,
it was so good. Like,
which one? Chaos Comics. What do you think was better, Tiny Toons or Animaniacs?
They had their own flavor, so you can't say one's better than the other because they're two different beasts, right? Animaniacs was just wacky, and it was just the best. I think. Oh gosh, it's just when you're like, when I say kid, I mean teenager, right? In my early teens. Right. So here's a little clip just from just came across. So this is Wacko's one of the characters. So let's bring that up while we're just on here. Bit of a segue, but hey, let's enjoy the art show. Here we are. So I love cartoons, man, and nobody's gonna ever stop me from watching cartoons or wearing t-shirts with cartoons on.
Yeah, totally.
Right. Because you gotta have cheerful, joyful stuff in your life or in this world, or you'll be a miserable person, right?
Yeah.
So this is Animaniacs Yakko's world. I call it. This is what I mean by it's a total different animal, right? The characters are totally different. The design work, the thematics behind it are just totally different to Tiny. Is it Tiny Toons that you say or?
Tiny Toons, yeah.
Yeah.
We got baloney in our slacks.
And now, the nations of the world, brought to you by Yakko Warner.
United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic, Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, and Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Bermuda, Bahamas, Tobago, San Juan, Paraguay, Uruguay, Suriname, and French Guiana, Barbados, and Guam. Norway and Sweden and Iceland and Finland and Germany now.
Norway.
Did you notice that his voice and accent changed?
Yes.
According to the country?
Yep.
That was so cool, man.
I picked up on that when he was doing the South American countries.
Yeah, so I'm waiting for what he's going to do with Europe because of Germany and France and all that. That's why I had to stop. So right, here we go.
Norway and Sweden and Iceland and Finland and Germany now one piece. Switzerland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Turkey and Greece. Poland, Romania, Scotland, Albania, Ireland, Russia, Oman. Bulgaria, Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Cyprus, Iraq and Iran. There's Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, both Yemen, Kuwait and Bahrain. The Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium and Portugal, France, England, Denmark and Spain.
You didn't do it.
Yeah.
India, Pakistan, Burma, Afghanistan, Thailand, Nepal, and Bhutan, Cambodia, Malaysia, then Bangladesh, Asia, and China, Korea, Japan, Mongolia, Laos, and Tibet, Indonesia, the Philippine Islands, Taiwan, Sri Lanka, New Guinea, Sumatra, New Zealand, then Borneo and Vietnam, Tunisia, Morocco, Uganda, Angola, Zimbabwe, Djibouti, Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia, Swaziland, Gambia, Guinea, Algeria, Ghana. Burundi, Lesotho, and Malawi, Togo, the Spanish Sahara is gone. Niger, Nigeria, Chad and Liberia, Egypt, Benin and Gabon, Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya and Mali, Sierra Leone and Algeria, Dahomey, Namibia, Senegal, Libya, Cameroon, Congo, Zaire, Ethiopia, Guinea-Bissau, Madagascar, Rwanda, Majorca, and Cayman, Hong Kong, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Yugoslavia, Crete, Mauritania, then Transylvania, Monaco, Liechtenstein, Malta, and Palestine, Fiji, Australia, Sudan.
Yeah, you mentioned Fiji, Australia, and Sudan, and also New Zealand.
Yes. Yes, also New Zealand. You know, I want to say this about Rainey. Not only can she talk about comic books, she can back up how good her books are.
Yeah, I was watching that yesterday because, like, look, I've been a what's it called, subscriber for her for years, like maybe 4 years. I just haven't been around watching them because, you know, there's only enough time in a day that I can handle, you know, live streams of whatever. But I actually enjoyed that yesterday. I thought it was pretty cool. I think let me find the link to her one that I watched yesterday because it really, in a way, it talks about the one that talked about yesterday had to do with what we'd already talked about, which was how when you're a writer, the whole point of being a writer, right, is to be able to share your work. Art is about communication. And you can't communicate if you don't friggin' really release it to people. So this is, dang it. I pressed, what did I press? I pressed paste instead of copy. So, no, there we go. So here's the stream from Rennie's from yesterday, right? And it was called Growing with Your Creations Panel Breakers 133. And because I've experienced this where people, you know, when I was like, I read a story on stage at an event in a restaurant, right? It was like some sort of like, you know, open mic thing. And so I got up there, told a story, and then hopped down. And then afterwards, this guy comes up to me and goes, "Hey, you know, I've been working for ages on a book, and I'm afraid that I don't want, you know, people won't like it, and so I don't want to release it, and I want, you know, it's my thing, and I don't, you know." And I'm like, "Oh, what's the point of writing it, dude? Go live your life doing something else." Right? You at that point you're just a hobbyist. You're not even a hobbyist, right? You're just basically doing it for you and nobody else. So don't even worry about it, right? Just go write your thing and keep it to yourself, and don't even come up to somebody like me, and who wants to release their work into the world. Or you could just release it into the world and expect rejection, and and then move on, right? We talk about how Stephen King was rejected like about 60 times or something, dude, on his first book. Let me actually look that up. So how many times? Oh yeah, and we talked about J.K. Rowling's, right? Like her book ended up in the rubbish bin because the person that got the editor or whatever read it, said it was just trash and just put it aside. And then her secretary read it and said, "Dude, you got to read this book," right? And now she's a billionaire. And we talked about that a couple of weeks back, I think. So let me just look this up. While I play another clip. And this is about, we did that one. Let me get rid of that. And then we'll come back to Boomtown in a second and go over other people. But this is Calgary. You know, Canada is just weird, dude. I don't know what happened to Canada, but Canada went from something great to something just weird.
How do you mean?
Well, since the truckers thing, you know, and I got in trouble here in New Zealand with the truckers thing, but since the COVID truckers thing, it just went downhill. So check this out. So this is Calgary Public Library. So an arts resident is where you pay and some sort of like stipends, whatever, for someone to come in, you know, an artist to live and be supported while they do work. But Calgary, is that Toronto, Calgary, or what is it like? Canada? It is Canada, right?
Yeah, I know it's Canada. I don't know where in Canada.
Yeah. So this is a Calgary Public Library is facing backlash from many after it asks artists to apply for a new residency program, but only if their work used artificial intelligence. All right. So this is how, Canada deals with it, and I'm going to show you how Australia deals with it, right? So there's that, and I'm going to play this while I go find out about Stephen King, because I'm sure it was about 60 odd times I think he was rejected. Mute myself.
AI artist is a misnomer. AI just steals from us. It even stole this residency. Hey guys, it's not too late to delete this. These are just some of the comments on the Calgary Public Library's Instagram post looking for a creative in residence focusing on artificial intelligence. Madeline Bailey, a local artist, says this isn't the direction art should be going in.
Generally, my feelings about art is that it's made by humans for humans. And historically, for thousands of years, humans have been creating. And if it's drawings on caves or music or paintings or like in sculptures, it's always been made by humans.
The post from Calgary Public Library says the residency is open to artists who use AI ethically, but there is a concern of whether or not the two go hand in hand at all.
This one, I believe, took me 50 hours, so 50. And then this one, maybe 20. You could take this art, take a photo of it and put it into an engine, essentially, and have it spit out images based off of this. I do think it's infringing on intellectual property.
But some experts believe there is space for AI in the art world.
In a lot of ways, AI is providing new tools to artists. And I think the library's approach to this sort of AI artist in residence was really just an effort to support AI literacy in society, which I think is something that is needed.
The Calgary Public Library says they are reviewing the feedback they've received, while applications for the position are still open until April 7th. Rain Rashid, City News, Calgary.
Well, that's bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they're so strange over in Canada that like they would pay someone with AI, gurgitated, vomited crap, and to actually live there and draw. Because the whole point here is that the residency thing would be like the people will be, painting whatever they got to paint based on the AI crap they vomited, right? And now they'll get paid for that. And the kids will come through and go, oh, is this your idea? And he'll go, no, it's AI. And then the kids will have it in their heads. Well, what's the point of like drawing at home and learning a skill when I can just make it AI, right? When I can just cheat it through.
Well, I mean, I have used that for concept ideas, but that's just ideas.
Yeah. It's a tool, right?
Not a finished product.
Exactly.
Or if I need a flyer right away and I don't have like a week to wait, I have to have it right now. I'll have a flyer made up with. But that's about it.
With me, like let me show you something with recently that I since we're talking about this. Yesterday, where is it? Okay, let me just open a whole bunch of stuff. One of my artists I reached out to and I said, hey, I want to do a spoiler cover, right, for issue 1 of I think this would be better if I just open up as an image rather than give me one. Where is it? Come here, you. Oh yeah, here we go. So let me see if I can get that away. Bring this up.
But you know what I'm saying? It's not. It should never be. It should never be replacing real artwork.
Well, that's the whole thing. They are replacing real artwork. They're going to put this on a on a library of all things, right? Where people go to learn, they're going to put on a library. Okay, you're seeing that. I need to turn this around. That's what I'm trying to do. Here we go. So I asked I said to my my artist, James. I said, hey James, I want to do a spoiler cover that isn't, that things that happened in issue 1 of Howler, which we're releasing soon on Kickstarter, and but I also don't want to show who's doing it because there's a between pages, right? So it's between what happens between after the first 4 pages, and then we cross over to like 6 months later or so. So so I said to him, hey, look, this is what I want. I want a guy standing over a graveyard or digging a hole, whatever, with stuff, people be inside it and outside it with a spade. And I also sent him the actual spade from Australia, so you could see what spade I wanted, which is like the specific style of spade. And so he sent me back, artwork saying, hey, here's some, this is what I've come up with, sketched up, and so on, right? And then yesterday he sent me these other 2 things, and he said, hey, this is what I've got. And so I went and I said, like, here's what I'm thinking, right? This is my doodles, the red marks and all this. This is my doodles. So I took 2 of his images and I combined them. And I said, okay, so I want it like this, and then I want it like this, right? I want trees over here. And I gave him, because he's from America, he wouldn't know what gum trees in Australia look like. So I sent him an image of, a photo of gum trees in Australia. And also when I'm sending him a construction boots from Australia, right? So you can see what, as a reference. So this was one of them that he sent through last night, and this was the other. So as you can see, I took this and I took this and I splashed it together and made this. Right? So it didn't take me that long. I basically just like cut pieces, just put the 2 together, overlapped each other and enlarged it, and then went across and just scratched out what I wanted. And the thing is that artists have their own skill and talent they have practiced and learned over the years and honed to be able to do this stuff. And then you want to pay someone to do walls of artwork that they haven't even come up and designed themselves. And that's just a slap in the face of everybody who's actually spent their skills, like years dedicating themselves to the art form.
I would rather have actual people draw it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to do like concept work, and you take that concept work and you actually hire an artist and say, hey, I want you to draw something like this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's different.
It is quite sad. And I think as we're about to move into the movies, but I think this is the one that I'd like to finish off that AI thing before we get into the anime. Where is it? Here it is. So I think this is, yeah. So this is the big news for AI generated images. I think this is from Australia, but it's Cat in Chat, and she's talking about it. This is the link for it, and we'll have a watch of this. It's about a 7-minute video. Oh, and before I do that, I want to. I said I was going to look at how many times was Stephen King was rejected, it was 30 times, dudes. It was I thought it was 60 times, but I know it was a huge number, right? I remember it from way back when I was like in the 90s, when I was reading Stephen King books. And I owned every single book of Stephen King, I think, until Dolores Claiborne. I think that might have been the last one that I actually bought. And then I got gifted a whole bunch of his books, like a couple of years ago, bequeathed to me because one of my uncles passed away. My aunt basically, and I mean, like, we're not blood relatives, but we, out of respect, we all, we call them aunt and uncle. It's kind of like a thing with Indians in our culture that you treat them like family, like, your close friends as family. And so when Brian passed away, and I went to his funeral and everything, I was sent a big box of Stephen King books, like the entire Dark Tower, and a couple others. Or, I think it was hardcover and paperback. So I think my first Stephen King book I read was It, when I was like about 15 or something, 15, 16. Yeah, I left school at 15, so May. So probably, going on to 16, that same year, 15. So if you've read, I haven't even watched the It movies, Tim. Have you watched the It movie? I mean, a two-parter movie, whatever it's called, recently. I haven't watched it.
I've seen that one. It's probably a little better than the TV series with TV miniseries with Tim Curry.
Okay, but that's the only one I've ever watched.
Yeah, well, I mean, in comparison, the Tim Curry one is kind of goofy, but I don't know. I preferred like the Gunslinger series.
Yeah, I remember reading that like in the 90s. I think that's when it first came out. And I used to buy every time the book came out, I'd buy it. Like, same with like Clive Barker. I'm a huge Clive Barker fan. He's like my number one horror writer for me, just like Philip K. Dick is my number one sci-fi writer. So here it goes, right? So I'm only 1 year old, by the way, guys, at this time. And his first published book, right? Carrie, and I've read Carrie as well, so, and owned it. Was rejected by publishers 30 times before it was finally accepted by Doubleday. Do you want to read this out, or check it out?
Well, you can read it.
Okay. So the number is widely cited across reliable sources, including, I'm not going to even say that, sites, because I have a problem with saying that word. King's own anecdotes. He famously threw the manuscript in the trash after the rejections, only for his wife Turbo to retrieve it and encourage him to keep submitting it. Doesn't that sound like what happened with J.K. Rowling? As I mentioned earlier, the publisher was given the book, or whoever was given the book, and she threw it in the trash, but her receptionist picked it out and took it home and read it, and then said to her boss, "Hey, this is a good book, right? And look at it where Harry Potter is now."
Oh,
and
yeah.
she has the best author's rights in the world, and contract in the world, I should say. No matter what anybody does, she always gets paid. You can scream all you want, guys, how much she's this and that, but she always gets paid. And motivational stories about perseverance in writing. So only for his wife Deborah to retrieve it and encourage him to keep submitting. So he's been talking about it, to motivate yourself, people. He had written 3 early novels, Rage, The Long Walk, and Blaze. Dude, I love The Long Walk. And of course, they've just made it into a movie, right? Rage is, I think, if I remember, Rage is about the truck thing. Is it the one? I can't remember what the other two are, but like, I used to love The Long Walk because of The Long Distance Runner from Iron Maiden, that song. If you've ever heard it, it's a great song. Excuse me. That weren't published at the time, right? So some later under pseudonyms, and that is, of course, what's this called? Dang it, Running Man. What was Running Man? Richard Bachman. Running Man was published under the pseudonym Richard Bachman. And so Kerry was his breakthrough as the first accepted published one. After those 30 rejections, Doubleday offered a modest $2,500 advance. The paperback rights later sold for $400,000, kickstarting his massive career. One rejection note reportedly said something like, "We're not interested in science fiction which deals with negative utopias. They do not sell." Okay. How's that for a rejection note? Nobody wants sci-fi and dystopia. Tim?
Yeah. Wait, just wait.
Yeah. Nobody wants it.
Funny how
And what
things
do we
change.
have? Yeah. And this is the problem. Like, it shows you that the smart people at the top of the top of the pyramid aren't always smart.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there's also shows you that people can't really accurately predict what's hot and what's not.
Exactly. You just got to put it out, man. That's the thing, right? You just got to put it out, and you got to do the work. Don't be my precious with your work, right? Oh, I fear rejection. Nobody's gonna like it. I'm afraid I'm gonna get rejected. Like, dude,
Some of the best things were things that people didn't think were going to catch on.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, anybody? God damn it, get in there.
There's so many stories like this, guys. And like this, the two of the biggest, like I said, is Stephen King and J.K. Rowling's, right? These guys are the top of the top of the game, as they say, right? Of their skill set or whatever their genres. Okay, now that that's done that, let me remove that and go to Cat and Chat. And we will look at the big news for AI generated images, right? So this is Cat and Chat, 7-minute clip, and we won't watch all of it, but we'll just get the main themes, and then of course I've got the link in the chat. You guys can watch it later because we got to move on to our 20 greatest anime movies of all time, and I want to see how many Tim has watched and how many he hasn't. And there we go. I'm not sure what Tim is doing, but I think he's packing.
I'm trying to plug something in, and then we'll go into. I'm running out of battery.
All right, you do that, and then I'll play this. All right, let me mute you. Wait, do that. There we go.
With all the AI news spinning around, there's always a lot of negative news, but we have a very positive updates in the generative AI space. So I wanted to share this news with all of us because I'm sure you guys feel the same in sentiment, or maybe similar. This is a post by TuneHive posted March 3rd in 2026, and it reads, AI-generated artwork officially is ineligible for copyright protection as the U.S. Supreme Court declined to review an appeal case. The court rules that artwork needs to have a human creator in order to be eligible. You heard that right. That is big news in the generative AI space because a lot of times people are trying to claim like, oh, well, I have copyright to this because I came up with the idea, even though AI made the thing.
Yeah, we've been saying for ages that you cannot copyright AI, right? So, we talk about AI, right? So one thing that I did I think last month was put out a whole bunch of songs. I wrote the lyrics. I didn't ask the AI to go, make it like Megadeth or make it like this. I didn't do any of that. All I said was, here's what I want sound-wise. I want deep bass things, and I want, melodic, melody, rhythm, drum and bass, whatever have you, right? Because I don't want it to sound like anybody else. I don't want it to be a copy of anybody else. I wanted those lyrics to be sung, whatever by AI, but I didn't own any rights to it. And I said, you guys can, whoever in the world, the only reason I'm doing this is that hopefully somebody will find it and like the song, the lyrics, and make it their own thing. And I have no rights to it, right? Even though I wrote the lyrics, I have no right to it. So you guys can do whatever you want with it and take it for what it is and enjoy it. And, you know, and whatever makes you, you know, whether you like it or not, it's up to you, you know. But it's not, I don't own it. I just put it out there, you know, because I wanted to write some lyrics, because I've always been you know, I used to go to concerts and whatever have you and write lyrics, what, you know, sit on the side sometimes with the whatever's playing on there. So this is where I put it out. I put it out on, you know, on Rumble, and I went and just put out a whole bunch of songs. And the only thing I even said it in the friggin' let me just bring it up so you guys can see that. And I'm not trying to promote that shit, because, you know, if you find it, you find it. If you don't, I don't really care, you know, because I don't own it, because it's made by AI. But even though it's my own lyrics, it's still, right? It's still here, right? I actually tell you the version that it was and everything, but the lyrics I wrote myself, right? And then, of course, you know, I don't ask the, hey, do this, do that, do that. I just say, this is the sound that I want. I don't want you to copy anybody's vocals or anything shit like that, because I think that's just not cool. But it's still AI, right? So listen to this. This is I think it's what, I Myself Alone. I'll just play it on the download. Oh yeah, this is, and I also recommend you guys get out there and find this series. It's called oh gosh, I forgot. Hold on, let me. It's one of my favorite all-time favorite anime. I guess it's a good segue, right? Series. It's called The Garden of Sinners, and there's about 8 movies standalone. Like not standalone, but it's like it's like a trilogy. You know how they say trilogies, but it's like 8 of them. So I don't know what that's called, right? So The Garden of Sinners is friggin' amazing, right? It's a supernatural crime drama thing, and it's just really, really good. And I recommend it. It's, you know, it's one of the best things. If you want something, you know, a bit different. And these are original. They're not like based on anything. They're original, if I remember right. Works of, you know, films. Because everything now is basically based on manga or some light novel. But this one, if I remember right, is original. Right, I don't want to play any more of that. Okay, so you can't copyright AI. You just can't, because it's other people's work. And I'm so glad that, you know, the law is there now, right? The law is there. You can't, nobody who's basing their work off AI or tracing it or whatever, you know, of something they've regurgitated, you know, vomited out of AI and claiming it as own. You just can't. And this is good, because even as someone like I said, like I just made some music and wrote some lyrics and had AI put female and male vocals behind it, it's still not my music. It's still, you know, even though it's my lyrics, it doesn't make it mine. I don't have copyright over that music. I might have copyright over the lyrics. I don't even care if somebody takes and does whatever they want with it. And the whole idea is that, please, if you like it, make it your own out of real music, real instruments. You know, that's kind of like my tool. It's a tool. I use that as a tool to create music that I thought would sound good, that somebody would feel, oh, wow, that's a pretty good song. Let me now make it real. Let me sing it. Let me play an instrument to it. All right. So this is really good.
Stolen stuff, stolen artwork, and things like that.
Sorry,
So let's dive in.
Let me go back a bit.
Because a lot of times people are trying to claim like, oh, well, I have copyright to this because I came up with the idea, even though like AI made the thing that with stolen stuff, stolen artwork, and things like that. So let's dive into this because this is a very interesting situation because it involves like a personal AI, actually, kind of. So this is the article written by Reuters, written by Blake Britton, posted March 2nd. U.S. Supreme Court declines to hear dispute over copyrights for AI-generated material. So this is about somebody by the name of Stephen Taylor, who had appealed to the Copyright Office actually multiple times over this. So this is the document from the Copyright Review Board, February 14th, 2022, which is, I think it's just funny also that it was Valentine's Day. But this is about a second request for reconsideration for refusal to register the art piece. So this is.
Imagine that, dude. You know it's friggin' AI, and you're trying to take copyright lies, get legal precedent. And this is what I'm so glad that this is the legal precedent. You cannot copyright AI. Right? This is from the very top. This is from the US, law, whatever they call it there. I don't know. Right? Office of Copyright or IP, whatever you want to call it. And you can't register it. And I'm so glad because AI art is not copyrightable because it's everybody else's work.
Is the work in question, which Thaler titled A Recent Entrance to Paradise. So basically in 2018, Thaler tried to get this copyrighted, and the background from my understanding of this is that he has something called a creativity machine, which is like the AI that he made back around this time. And he attests that the image, quote, was autonomously created by a computer algorithm running on a machine, end quote. And note this specifically. He was, quote, seeking to register this computer-generated work as a work for hire to the owner of the creativity machine, end quote. So basically, he wanted to copyright it in the sense that like his machine learning bot was his freelancer, I guess, that generated this image, that he hired the bot to do it so that he would then retain the copyright to the work, which is interesting. Look, if you work for a company, you are a freelancer, a lot of times they make you sign a contract. The work you do for them is owned by them because they hired you to do this job and that you don't own it. So I think maybe that is what he was arguing here. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an attorney, so don't take what I say with legal fact, okay? So note this. August 12th, 2019, the US Copyright Office said that, quote, it lacks the human authorship necessary to support a copyright claim, end quote, which again is affirming the fact that like AI generated artworks and other materials cannot be copyrighted because
a human didn't do it. To copyright art, it has to be created by a human. She mentioned, like, I think it was the other video clip we looked at about Calgary and Toronto, how the library wants to pay someone to do AI wall drawings, paintings. It's like, wait, what? But I was looking at some, because we're doing a series called Howler, right? Actually, this is for the tortoise. And so for the tortoise, I went looking for some Philippines. Was it Philippines? Indonesian cave paintings, right? Cave paintings of a certain animal. And they've just discovered all these amazing like art or like cave paintings that go back thousands of years, maybe, right? Thousands of years, whatever you have, of a particular animal that's native to that country, right, to these islands. And I was like, these are like human beings like us back then, just pounding berries, leaves, what have you, bark to make a dye or a paint, and then squashing that on, spreading that across a cave wall, rocky cave wall, to express themselves. Right? Expressing yourself, it comes from your soul and your heart and your mind, right? From the human being, because you're trying to say, well, this is my expression of this work, right? This is what I see in my, when I look at such and such, right, at the world. And I think this is why I am so anti this whole copywriting AI art, because it's not, it doesn't have that human element. It's just like what I did, right? Deep bass, rhythm, blah blah blah. That's not creative, right? It's just me putting words to regurgitate, for the machine to tell me, to put out what it thinks that's what I meant. And we've got into a place where I think a lot of people cheat, and they think it's okay to cheat, right? And I think the internet feeds into that, because the amount of stuff I've seen people try to like claim as their own that isn't their own is crazy, man. Like people making people pay, saying, "Oh, this is my work. Now pay me $1,000." And then when the person, likes their work and sends back, it's like, "Oh, wait, that's AI. That looks like my work. What did you do?" And so now this guy here, oh, because the machine. But where did the work come from for that bot, right? For that AI to learn to come up with these, to come up with this work, right? Is it your own work? See, I've had a conversation before with the publisher about like how, it was also a writer, right? About like, what would be the greatest, one of the things that sometime in the future when you're able to do it, where you feed your own work, right? Into its thing, it doesn't take anybody else's work, right? And you feed your own work into this machine that is not tied to anybody else. And hey KSS, happy birthday, brother. That you feed into this one standalone machine, and it's your own tool. It's I don't know how to term it, but it's yours, right? It's not feeding off anybody else. It's like, here it is. It's like a blank AI, and you go, hey, take all my work. This is my 30 for me. Like I've been writing since I was like, well, I think when the amount of work I have goes back, that I actually have with me, goes back 26 years, right? So I have 26 years of writing, from like, I think from like stage plays, skits, 5-minute skits, 10-minute scripts, to 1 hour, 50-minute film, to 40, was it 40, something like that, 15 or 20 episodes of a TV show, right? And movie scripts, comic book scripts, what have you, short stories, all that. So if I could now feed that into my own little machine, my own AI generator of my own work, then it's my own work. But then it's like, it's still not my own work, is it? Because it's taking my ideas, but it's the thing is, when I'm writing a story, I'm changing things all the time, right? Recently, I've been like this, the last couple of days, whatever, past week, I've been working on the cards, right? So I've been working on cards for our, to put out as part of, our upcoming Kickstarters. So welcome back, Tim. Oh, wrong one. No, not that one. No. Hold on.
In my travels to the north, high on a mountaintop, I found this.
I have returned. Sorry about that.
Did you get all set up, bro?
I'm all set up. Just that where I was didn't have a plug-in.
Right. So before we go into answering, looking at what KSS is saying, so I just want to talk about this for a bit. So actually, this is the wrong one. I should open up the actual main one. No, yeah, I'll open up the main one. So over the last 4 or 5 days, week, whatever, I've been, we're working on our cards, and so these cards, basically, each of them are individual. I set them up so they can be printed. So On all of them, I'm going across and writing backgrounds that are different from the others because they are different people, right? For each character. So we have what in this world what we call like the monsters and creatures. I call them eidolons, right? And eidolon with an O is basically mythic, spiritual, ancient creatures, right? They don't have form. So with us, I said they have form, so they're eidolon, right? So we've got all these different creatures here, but and then doing these cards, right? Setting them up. I am like coming up with ideas and stories and backgrounds of these creatures that I've created for my book, right? For my series, Howler, right? Because it's like about 12 issues or something that I've got planned out, and each about 4 issues per arc, right? 4 or 5 issues per arc, whatever it is. And so I'm building their own background for these characters, and that has to do with my work, not what their own existence is elsewhere, but these are my own creations. So I mentioned earlier about a fiddle, right? So this is what this creature here, a Fossegrim, plays, right? And so, you know, and that's our design of the Fossegrim, right? Whereas in Norway, there's a creature that plays a fiddle that's a Fossegrim. So we're not trying to take away from that creature. We created our own. So here I said for him to become a physical, because I need him to be physical in our story, right? Not some spiritual thing, a ghost-like thing. I had to go in and write a story as a backstory that's only available, tells you in this card, right? And not in this comic book, but actually only in the cards, because I wanted the cards to be special add-ons so that you actually, if you buy the card or get the card, you learn something new. All right. So there's like outside of the comic book. And so here I say, well, it's big. The reason, how did he turn into a real thing, right? Into a physical form? I said, well, it is believed that that Fosse, and this is what I call the creature, that's the name of this character in our book, right? He's from the family of Flossegrims, but I call him Fosse, right? We didn't want to get too, because these are not the people who named them. They're like slave traders, right? So they're not going to call them by their captors. They're not going to call them by their real, whatever their names are. They're like, oh, you're called a Fossegrim. There you go, flippantly. So here I go. Like, it is believed that Fosse was cursed by a witch named Angelica from Vardø, Norway, right? And of course, I only found that out because I wanted to know. I said to Gruck, hey man, like, tell me about the witch trials. Like, were there witch trials in Norway? And so I took that information. I went, okay, so I need to come up with something, right? Something interesting that helps me turn my friggin' character from a spiritual being into a physical form. And so I decided to go, okay, here's the story. And I had to write this over and over until I got it right, man. It took me about 3-4 times because it was wasn't, and also taking the legends in account, right? So the white goat, stolen white goat, right, is a legend as part of the Fossegrim. So here, right, it is believed that Fosse was cursed by a witch named Angelica from Vardø, Norway, who had entrusted him with teaching her daughter to play the fiddle. The daughter, a beautiful blonde teenager, was to be married to the town chief. And as part of the engagement, she had to perform a special song on the fiddle, right? Which is a hapagrim. I think it's a hapagrim. And so Angelica gave Fosse a stolen white goat, which is a real thing, right? I mean, it's part of the legend of the Fossegrim that he likes, he likes a stolen white goat, all right, as a payment, as required for his services. However, when her daughter performed, different words fell from her lips as she played and sang. Fosse had done this as a prank because he's also a prankster, right? But the listeners understood the meaning, and Angelica and her daughter were surrounded. The pair were tried and found guilty of witchcraft. And yeah, in the 1700s, there was actually a witch trial in Norway for witches, right? Where there were, as we know, a lot of times people just say people were witches because they wanted to steal their land, steal their property, or they just hated them, and so on. Yeah, it was quite sad. It's like if you don't like that woman, or if your husband looked at her in a lustful way, oh, now we need to get rid of that woman, and that's what they do. So Angelica has transformed the spirit creature into solid physical form, whereas before he had been a mere spirit. So you won't get this in this comic book, but you'll get this in the card, because I want everything to be special, that anybody that gets anything from us, right? Because at the end of the day, and this is basically these drawings, artwork is actually by the artist on the book, which is Luis Andrade, right? And you can see it, us talking about this on the channel here on Plunger Comics, because you guys are watching of course, on Twitter as well as on Twitch. Thank you, wherever you're watching. Thank you so much. And if you don't mind, please come over to @Plunge Comics on one word on Facebook and give us on YouTube and give us a like, subscribe, and so on, all that good stuff. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, and I want to get back to of course, to what KSS is saying, but yeah, as the whole point of me talking about this is that I went through several write-ups with this until I could get this story tight. This little 2-paragraph bit that tells you so much that I could later on, if I wanted to, write a whole friggin' comic book about this whole situation, right? How did Angelica go find the posse group? What did the girl look like, right? What was her background? How did she become a witch? But here in 2 paragraphs, I tell you a short story about how this guy, this character, this person of legend, a Fossegrim from Norway, became a real thing, from being a ghost, whatever creature, to a physical person to be used in our story, to make sense for our story. So, getting away from that, let's talk about fudge. Not
who doesn't love fudge? I pity the fool who doesn't love fudge.
I don't even know what that means, but I've heard somebody say it. So let's talk about fudge.
Oh, that's the warning on Wiggle's show, and it's just funny because it's just so random.
I guess it makes sense here. So, can you read what Kesa says, and I'll go through all of his.
Slight correction: works created solely by AI cannot be copyrighted, as U.S. law requires a human author. However, you can copyright AI-assisted music and stories if they contain sufficient human. All right, where was I? Human author, however, containing human creator, such rearranging. Yeah. Okay. Is this a new one? Okay, I'll start from the beginning. Human author, however, you can copyright AI-assisted music and stories if they contain sufficient human creativity, such as rearranging AI stems, writing lyrics, and heavily editing content.
Oh, I guess that's what I did with my music. Yeah, I think that's what it's referring to as well. So yeah, writing my own lyrics, removing anybody else's work from it. Like, don't hey, sing it like such and such, using this voice. So yeah, that's pretty. I don't know that. Yeah, the next one, Tim.
Oh, the human-made elements are protected, but the raw AI output is not. So suck it.
All right. So now you're saying happy birthday to you.
Yep.
And then Kessa says, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying they'll let copyright stuff. I'm just saying they'll let copyright stuff as long as you use enough human created stuff and tell them what AI did. Yeah, I guess it's pretty cool. And long live the band
Zone Resistance. Yes.
What is this about?
We will rise up and destroy the evil Duck Lord.
Oh yeah, I missed yesterday. So something happened yesterday's stream with our our very good friend Alasmet the Duck King?
No, I just want to lead a rebellion against his evil tyrannical duck rule.
Thank you, KSS, my very good friend. Thank you for the best wishes and the bananas.
But apparently he refuses to ban KSS. He refuses
because
to ban
KSS is the great one, so you can't ban KSS.
I guess
it's
not.
so much joy to streams.
Does he?
And every stream goes to. Yeah. Okay, so moving along. Gosh, I didn't realize we just spent an hour and 40 minutes on that. But I guess, all good things take time. All right, so this is, of course, the main thing of the day, which is 20 must-watch retro. Well, I call it classic. I don't think retro is a good word. Maybe it is, maybe not. I don't know. But I like classic because classic has this power behind that word, right? So we are now going to move on to the very good 20 must-watch animes before you die. This is from Geek Recommends channel. I came across it last week and I thought, well, it's it's worth checking out. So let's see how good.
There is something about older.
Let's see what their recommendations are compared to what I would recommend. And have I seen all of it, or have you seen all of it, Tim? And what do we think of it? All right. So before that, case I say you didn't miss anything. That matter has been going on a bit, where he says, Tim, Jabba, and my good friend Carol are in the ban zone. So it's a bit. Okay. And Tim, of course, goes, join us. I don't think you'll ban me. I don't think I have created an enemy out of Alasmet yet. I know I've created enemies out of 2 people so far. Or actually, might be 3 people in the comic scene. But hey, we'll see. Kessa says, we have a word for talking about schemes and scams. It's fudge. And we tell about 3 fudge. That comes from the old war campaign law. Sorry. Looking at a different screen with my glasses. It's not. I'm nearsighted or whatever.
You made him sound British.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Chip chip cheerio.
All right then. Okay, so here's a 20 must-watch movies before anime movies classics before you die. And I got to say, I read manga and watch anime because it helps me step outside of my own thinking on how stories should be told. And one thing I noticed about anime is that they're not doing it in the style of superhero comics that American pop culture has been stuck with for the last 50 odd years since the censorship in 1950s, right? And so you're able to tell stories about so many things. And so that allows you to actually do long form stories and write stories in a way that isn't like, oh, they fought this. Now the next arc they'll be fighting this. Next arc they'll be fighting that. Now there's another big enemy. Now there's a big enemy, and I'm like, I'm so tired of that, man. And so I watch a lot of things that actually aren't superpower based or superhero based because I find, especially things I like supernatural stories, and so I watch a lot of that when it comes to anime and manga. Reading manga, right? Because I think it's interesting to be not, enjoying the same things you're writing about.
Well,
what's your take on that, Tim?
Sometimes it's nice to have something that kind of shakes it up. I don't want to have the same old shit all the time. It's boring that way.
It's definitely boring if you're watching the same stories and reading the same books, same genre forever, right?
Yeah, yeah. I That's why I don't understand why people want to kind of drag everybody back to a time period they feel comfortable with. It's like that,
Mm.
the 70s, 80s, and 90s are gone. I mean, you can pay homage to it, but
Yeah.
you're never going to be able to go back.
Yeah, whenever somebody says, "Oh, I wanted to do this like the '90s," I'm like, "Why? Why? Just do what you want to do. Don't try to do that. Just write a freaking story and get some artist to draw it the way you want to draw it, and okay."
Yep.
There is something about older anime films that just hits different. Before digital coloring and CGI became the standard, every frame was painted by hand, and filmmakers had to rely purely on craft and storytelling to make things work. A lot of these films have been buried under decades of newer releases, and unless
And that's what really annoys me, is that people are like always jumping in the latest thing, right? The latest thing, and they forget, and they haven't seen these older great things that inspired all these latest things, right?
Well, yeah, it's always
And,
like pay homage to what paved the way for what you do now.
Yeah. And it's just, all of these are like just such, they spent so much time to make them look that good. Now it's just like, okay, just a computer generator, right? CGI at all. And so, because they need it faster and faster and faster, because the market moves so fast now because of they've made consumers want everything right away, right?
Yeah.
It's like when you go to McDonald's, you go, "Hey, I want a burger," and like if you wait more than 10 minutes, you get agitated, or 5 minutes, you get angry and agitated. It's like, dude, they're making it for you. Do you want it to be, So usually when I go to McDonald's, if I want something, I'll have extra gherkins or something like that, or extra lettuce, because I know they have to make a new one, right? They have to make it fresh.
Well, I mean, another thing is they just rehash the same stuff, so no one knows about anything that's different or groundbreaking.
someone points you toward them, you might never find them. So that is what this video is for. 20 retro anime films that are genuinely worth your time. Some you will have heard of, others probably not. Let's get into it. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind came out in 1984 and was only Miyazaki's second film as director. It is set in a post-apocalyptic world overrun by toxic forests and giant insects. But instead of leaning into typical sci-fi, Miyazaki built something almost mythological. The central conflict is not good versus evil. It is humanity versus nature. And Nausicaa herself is one of the best protagonists in the medium. She is compassionate and determined, but never feels like a saint. She gets angry, gets scared, makes mistakes. The animation was made entirely without computers and still holds up. This film is essentially the reason Studio Ghibli exists. Ghost in the Shell came out in 1995 and still feels ahead of its time.
Now, before we move to Ghost, have you seen Nausicaa?
No.
I can't remember if I've seen it or not, but I'm definitely going to have to go see it again, because it came out in 1984, dude. And it was called Kase no Tane no Nausicaa. That's the actual Valley of the Nausicaa Valley of the Wind. So that's the original name for it.
This
Sorry
might
to carry on.
make me seem stupid, but it took me a long time to kind of realize why she disrobes all her clothes when she turns invisible.
Okay, and why is that?
Because she turns invisible, her clothes don't.
Right.
That's just like
because it's physical, right?
Yeah. I was just like, why is she doing that? It's cool, but why is she doing that? Because she tries to pull the hatch off, and she ends up ripping off her own arms.
Yeah. I think my whole thing this year is to read every single Ghost in the Shell manga, to like have it in my head, like the entire series, because I class Ghost in the Shell of this as one of the greatest cyberpunk mangas or ever, in line with Philip K. Dick's, with the whole Blade Runner.
Even the live action is good.
Together. Yeah, dude, I love that live action, and I hate people. I don't understand why people hate it. And the only reason people hate it because they brought on the whole SJW idea of, it's got to. Why isn't she like Asian? Why isn't she Asian? Why isn't she Asian?
That's the funny thing about that is the Japanese actually appreciated it.
Yeah,
and she was never Japanese to begin with. She was like her character was white. I mean, it's a Japanese cartoon, but she was white in the cartoon.
Yeah. Machiko Kusanagi. Major. Yep. All right, let's get to. So I don't know if I've seen Nausicaa, but I have watched this about 2-3 times.
On the surface, it is about cyborg cops hunting a hacker, but what the film is really about is identity. If your body is mechanical and your memories can be rewritten, where does your sense of self actually live? The film weaves these questions into the story without ever stopping to lecture you. Visually, the attention to detail is staggering. Small things like shadows behaving correctly on an invisible character because light still interacts with mass show the level of thought that went into every frame. It famously inspired The Matrix, and that comparison is not a small one. Released in 1997, Perfect Blue launched the...
All right. So, have you watched Perfect Blue?
No, I have never seen Perfect Blue.
I have, and it is magical. It is awesome. So that came out 2 years after Ghost in the Shell, right? And Perfekuto Buro, that is the Japanese name in kanji, if I remember right. And 2 years apart, bro. So the story about Perfect Blue is a pop singer gives up her career to become an actress, but she slowly goes insane when she starts being stalked by an obsessed fan who seems to be a ghost of her past. So that I gave it
a metaphor
8
there.
out of 10.
There seems to be a metaphor there.
And what would be the metaphor?
Well, she becomes something else, but her past still haunts her.
But it's also pretty crazy because just last week, some crazy nutcase shot up Rihanna's house.
What?
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Let me find it since we're talking about that. Well, since
I guess he wouldn't. She wouldn't let him hold her umbrella, Ella.
So some okay, all right, here we go. So this is from the news. So I guess it's in theme with what we're talking about, like a stalker, right? And then we'll go to play the Perfect Blue thing. So this is what happened. I was going to cover it on some stream, but I might as well, it's probably better this time because since the story, of what is it? The theme of the plot of Perfect Blue is in line with like a stalker hunting, whatever, with the pop star. So this is from 2 weeks ago, 4 days ago, actually 4 days ago, dude.
Let's turn our attention right now out west. Some developing news in Hollywood following an incident outside the home of music superstar Rihanna. I want to put this up here from Fox 11 Los Angeles, saying the suspect accused of firing shots into Rihanna's LA home over the weekend was identified by the LAPD. Her bail has been set at over $10 million. Let's be joined right now on the ground in Southern California. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez. Thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. What are we learning about who this individual is and what happened this weekend?
Well, she's a 35-year-old woman from Orlando, Florida, who has been posting about not only Rihanna, but other celebrities. Yesterday at about 1:30, she supposedly, according to LAPD, drove her vehicle into that street, which is now blocked off, took out an AR-15 rifle and started shooting into the gate. Rihanna, take a look.
Criminalists are going to be doing trajectory analysis, so they need a chunk of the street in order to do that.
Moving media crews out for their investigation. LAPD taking over the street where shots were fired at singer Rihanna's home Sunday afternoon. You can see the bullet holes on the gates and investigators placing markers on an Airstream trailer parked inside. Police say the shots came from an AR-15.
The really scary part of this is Rihanna was home. Rihanna and her 3 young children were home. We are told that ASAP Rocky was not home at the time. Luckily, nobody on the premises of her home was hit by any of the rounds that were fired.
LAPD confirming the arrest of 35-year-old Ivana Lizette Ortiz from Orlando, Florida. I'm everything you want to be. Her Facebook page includes disparaging posts about Rihanna and other celebrities like Cardi B.
You can't with me, Cardi B. You're supposedly busy right now.
I don't want to bring too much attention to the nutcase, but yeah.
Wow.
So
what a nutter.
Yeah, dude. Like that's yeah. So yeah, Perfect Blue, of course, came out was like 40 years ago. What year was that? 97, so almost 40 years ago. Next year will be 40 years old.
You know what? There's another
30 years.
story. There's
30
another
years,
story for the
apologies.
90s that was just like that, where some guy was obsessed with Bjork.
Yeah, there was Bjork, and there's always been people who've been this crazy, right?
Yeah. Just ask John Lennon.
Yeah. So this is Perfect Blue. Here we go.
Career of Satoshi Kon. It follows a pop Matrix, and that comparison is not a small one. Released in 1997, Perfect Blue launched the career of Satoshi Kon. It follows a pop idol who leaves her group to pursue acting, only to spiral into paranoia as a stalker, compromising roles, and a crumbling sense of reality close in on her. Kon blurs the line between what is real and what is performance so effectively that by the midpoint, you are as disoriented as the main character. The production was hit hard by the Kobe earthquake and the budget was slashed, but the finished product still holds together. It is dark and graphic, but never gratuitous for its own sake. Everything serves the story. Jinro came out in 1999, directed by Hiro.
So I'm just doing a search on Perfect. So the Perfect Blue, right, is psychological thriller directed by Satoshi Kon, is loosely based on the novel Perfect Blue: Complete Metamorphosis, original title Perfecto Boru Kanzan Hentai, by author Hoshikazu Takeuchi, and it was first published in 1991. So yeah, so loosely based on a novel and not a manga. So it's kind of like an original piece of work, which is kind of pretty cool. And I think this is a cool thing about it. Is like back then people were doing original, I guess, works rather than every time a manga got popular, they started making it into anime straight away. So there is a write up on that and the chat there. But yeah, it's I just that's what I think. Recently, I read a article where directors and I think there was a writer or a director saying, "Why are we just always adapting stuff and not doing original work, right, for anime?" And so he's calling people to be original with their content, and this is like something like what we're saying, like why are you just creating stories and comics just like in the 90s, right, or the 70s or 80s, that has nothing to do with making anything new. And like I said, I love the classics, and if you want to tribute to them, then do it all out. Don't just do it half-heartedly, right? Give in all, and if you like really, want to do some great work, man, really do it. Don't just hold back.
Yeah. Well,
Put it
yeah.
out there.
Well, I mean, Melvin was kind of like that, only because
Mm.
Melvin was created in the 90s.
Mm.
But I mean, he's kind of like evolved.
Yeah.
He's outgrown that because the 90s are gone. You can't like write something that you're no longer in that time period. You're no longer that guy.
Right.
So it comes out differently.
So Genro the Wolf Brigade, I think they tried to do a live action or maybe a TV show. I'm not sure, but I gave this an 8 out of 10. Right. I can't remember when I saw it, but it must have been about 4 years ago. Maybe about 3-4 years ago.
It looks cool. I saw a little bit of it. I thought it looked cool.
It is cool, man. It's so the story behind this is a traumatized member of an elite paramilitary force, a police force for the sister of a female terrorist Korea. Hold on. Because like Korea and Korea sound like they sound the same, but they spell different. So here it is. Like you guys can figure out if I'm saying it right or wrong, right? So who died in front of him on duty. So yeah.
Okiura from a screenplay by Mamoru Oshii. Set in an alternate Japan during civil unrest, it follows a member of an elite armored police unit who witnesses a young girl detonate herself in front of him. That event breaks something in him, and the rest of the film is about the fallout. The whole story is built around the fairy tale of Little Red Riding Hood and uses that framework in a way that feels earned. The animation is hyper-realistic. Facial expressions, body movement, even how rain collects on surfaces. It is slow and deliberate, and it rewards patience. By the final scene, it leaves a mark that does not fade easily. Only Yesterday is a
All right. So this movie I have not seen at all.
I have not seen it either.
Never even heard of it, dude.
You're gonna have to find a link to that so we can see
Yeah.
it.
Only Yesterday. So yeah, this is from 1991. It's weird. I'm like, this is why, like, I didn't watch this beforehand because I wanted to make sure, that like, reactions are real, right? So I've never watched this movie, never even heard of it, bro. Like, that's just, yeah. So 1991. So the story behind this is a 27-year-old office worker travels to the countryside while reminiscing about a childhood in Tokyo, right? So this is by Isao Takahata. Let's go find out because I have no idea what this is about.
1991 Ghibli does not fade easily. Only Yesterday is a 1991 Ghibli film directed by Isao Takahata. No fantasy, no magic, just a 27-year-old office worker taking a trip to the countryside.
Will do, KSS. He wants me to play Dominion Tank Police for you.
Okay. Sounds
Another
cool.
classic, by the way. Yeah, yeah. Oh, talking about which, so Wiggle yesterday, right? Before we carry on, Wiggle yesterday. What was it the day before? I can't remember. Because I'm usually rewatching things because I've missed out on it, live streams. So Wiggle mentioned he liked Perfect Circle, and and I'm like, dude, and he was apologizing. I'm like, dude, I love Perfect Circle. I've loved it for about 20 years now or something, right? Since I first heard them, and so I think Wiggle and myself, we're very much alike, right? Taste wise, and so I was quite pleased he said that. But, because like a lot of people don't talk about that. Like my favorite song, one of my top songs is by Perfect Circle called Passive. And that's the song from Constantine, the movie, right? And it's just I can listen to that song all day, man.
Yeah.
It's such a good song, Passive.
Yeah.
All right, so let's play this and let's get to
and No Magic.
Hold on. So, yeah.
Film directed by Isao Takahata. No fantasy, no magic, just a 27-year-old office worker taking a trip to the countryside and reflecting on her childhood memories. That is the entire premise, and somehow it is one of the most absorbing films the studio ever made. The script handles memory with a subtlety that is rare in any medium. Takahata's team gave the adult characters realistic facial musculature, creating a hyper-realism that makes you forget you are watching animation. This is a quiet, reflective film. It will not grab you with spectacle, but if you meet it where it is, it stays with you. Mamoru Oshii directed Angel's Egg in 1985, and it is one of the most unusual films.
So I haven't, like I said, I haven't seen Only Yesterday, but let me see if I've seen Angel's Egg.
I've never seen that.
So these are like 20s movies we got to watch, right? And here's the thing, like she talks about how there was no magic, there was no action, yet the story is captivating. And this is what I've
like that one short anime you had us watch.
What was that?
The one about the manga artist team, and they kind of grew apart, and she got killed.
Oh yeah. Look back. I think that was the name of it.
Yeah.
So
slice of life stuff.
Yeah, stuff that they're just two people who are drawing a comic book, right? Working and drawing a comic book. And I don't think this is what I mean. Like, you don't always need the next battle, the next thing blowing up, the next being shot at, that comic books, like the mainstream comics, is always centered around people fighting and people are getting attacked and the next villain, right? It's so freaking boring to me that every issue of a Batman comic book or a Spider-Man comic book or X-Men comic book, Avengers comic book, it's all, and Justice League, it's all about enemies and villains and heroes and battles. And it was just it's so retarded, to be honest, because
predictable.
And that's it. It's like, how do you, and this is what I find anime and manga so exciting and interesting, and why the entire world has moved on away from comics in a large way, right? Because they also are bored of the predictability of mainstream comics, of DC and Marvel, right? And DC and Marvel only did that was because they don't want to fight the friggin' censorship police, right? And do something interesting, so they stuck with superhero comics and that whole genre for 50 odd years. So Wiggle says here,
it's KSS.
KSS says here, Wiggle also apologized for liking 9 Inch Nails. I'm like, I like 9 Inch Nails too. Yeah, dude. Like, Hurt. And what cracked me up was that he didn't know that Hurt was actually written by 9 Inch Nails because he thought it was written by Johnny Cash. And I'm like, because I was doing the rewatch, right? And I'm going, how the hell do you not know? How do you not know that Hurt was written by 9 Inch Nails first? But yeah, and of course Johnny Cash did it so well, right? And the way, because the song is about outliving your friends, right? All my friends are dead or something, wait, hold on, let me find the lyrics there. So
it's kind of about looking back and regret about it, of everything, really.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so heartbreaking.
Exactly. And so with Johnny Cash doing it, it was like, even made it more because of all of his friends, right? And so
yeah,
I think, one thing, you can live with the regret, or you can change your life so that you can, do things that you don't live with the regret, right? And so talking about which, here's the lyrics. Whoops, apologies there, Tim. Talking about which, here's the lyrics to Hurt. Bit of a segue. So I hurt myself today, right? This is about it's not a happy song. And whereas like when Johnny Cash does it, and the way he sings it and the way he vocalizes it, as a country singer kind of thing, right? It comes across. It doesn't come across as a self-mutilation song, right? Cassis writes, Trent Reznor wrote "Hurt," and I'm pretty sure it was about addiction. But he said once Johnny Cash did it, it was a song. Yeah, Johnny really, really. I wasn't a Johnny fan until this, until he did this song, and this was released. So he goes, "I hurt myself today to see if I still feel right. I focus on the pain, the only thing that's real. The needle tears a hole. It's kind of like it is, addiction, right? It's like heroin, what have you. The only the old familiar sting, try to kill it all away, but I remember everything, right? It's like memories, man. They never go away. So here's the one that line that always like got to me. It was like, what have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. You could have it all, my empire of dirt. I will let you down. I will make you hurt, right? I wear this crown of shit upon my liar's chair, full of broken thoughts I cannot repair. Beneath the stains of time, the feelings of disappear. You are someone else. I'm still right here. What have I become, right? And then you go, everyone I know goes away in the end. And you could have it all, my empire of dirt. I'll let you down. I'll make you hurt. If I could start again, a million miles away, I would keep myself. I would find a way. So yeah, it's a sad song, but it's also, you could use that to actually prompt you to live a better life away from, the negative, away from your past, and change. And one of the things I think a lot of people don't change is because they stay in the same friend group. Stay with this, dwell on the negativity. And I think this is the reason why I wanted to do the art stream, is because, look at people who have done great work, or the art show, right? And look at all the amazing stuff they've left us or are creating for us to enjoy. So Kessa says he always hold on. Kessa says I've always been a Johnny Cash fan since I was a little boy. My grandpa always played Johnny Cash, right? That's pretty cool, man. I think I was thinking about that today, about my dad. Like I said early on, I was listening to Iron Maiden, right, with the classics from 1980 album, and my dad was the one who had the Iron Maiden albums in '85 when I discovered them, right? 85, 86, when I became a metalhead, and that's the thing. Like our family members, because they have access to money that we don't. When we're children, they're able to buy those records or albums, and we can enjoy them, listen to them. Like I can't, like without my dad, I don't think I would appreciate metal as much as I do to this very day. Like I've been a heavy metal fan since like 85, 84. I'm like maybe 85, 86. I think when I left, I was 15 when I left high school. So
Yeah,
I think just before that time.
That's the difference. My dad stopped liking new stuff past 1970 something.
Oh, okay.
Early 70s. So all the stuff I liked, he hated. Like I grew up listening to the classic rock stuff that he liked. But
Yeah.
as soon as I hit 16, I started getting my own taste in music, and
yeah,
I started listening to more punk rock stuff. And my dad did not understand or like that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, it was weird for me too, right? My dad, like when I started listening to Metallica, and one day I was blasting, Am I Evil, a King Diamond cover from Garage Day cassette, and so I was playing the cassette on my ghetto blaster, right, as we used to call them.
Yes,
and my dad's like, what the hell? What is this song? My Mother's a Witch. careless, something like evil little bitch or something like, why are you saying that? How can you say that? How can you listen to a song about someone's mom being said that to? I'm like, it's just a song. It's like, no, I don't want to hear it. Turn it off. So he wasn't a fan of that sort of stuff. But, I guess, I love my dad to this very day, like he's such a great inspiration in my life. But I guess, Timothy is an insane clown posse.
No,
his dad got him into it. Now he's a juggler.
Nah.
Talking about which, dude, I will play the Dominion Tech Police in a minute, but I also want to, since we're talking about this, I am watching, and I do enjoy, is it Juggalo, JCW? Yeah, JCW, Juggalo Championship Wrestling. I do enjoy it. So if you guys have never heard of it, they're you can watch every episode, or actually watch them play. Play the, what is it called, the shows live, and every episode, like it's a 2-hour episode or whatever wrestling show, on their homepage, which is Psychopathic Records.
I tell you what, I am a huge fan of is the Misfits.
Yeah.
And that. Yeah, didn't you know? Did you know?
Which one though?
Didn't you know
is
that?
Is there only one guitarist or two guitarists?
Didn't you know that I was one of the original members of the Misfits, and then like I got kicked out, and then I joined Guar, and then I got kicked out of Guar.
Guar.
I was in the band for like 5 minutes.
Well, let's have a listen to this for a bit before we get back into the anime stuff. Actually, I was going to play Dominion Police right before we get into anime stuff, but
yeah,
I know the song, so
we kind of got derailed. So let's get back on topic.
Yeah, give me a sec though. But here's Goa doing West End Girls by Pet Shop Boys.
I love
Play
that.
now.
I love that.
Every year we make a list of songs and we invite bands into our office to cover them. Once a song has been played, it gets crossed off the list. So the later a band comes in, the fewer songs they have to choose from. This is AV Undercover Series 5.
I just noticed the whole place was empty when we got here and realized that the guys who have to work might resent us.
Never.
War doesn't want.
We don't.
So, are you this dude here?
Want you to die.
Why did you pick
Sure.
West Girls cover?
Oh, you told us to
You didn't fucking pick anything. You all just give us a list of shit every fucking time.
Every
But then
fucking
you
time.
at the end, I don't think I would ever thought I would say to Guar that was kind of touching.
Well,
I've been accused of touching before. Where?
When does the touching start?
Yes. Postulate. Sometimes you're better off dead. There's a gun in your hand and it's pointed at your head. You think you're mad, you're too unstable. Kicking in chairs and knocking down tables in a restaurant. Western town, call the police, there's a madman around. Going down, underground to a dive bar in a western town. Western town in dead world. Now Eastern bars and western girls. In a western town, a dead world. Now Eastern bars and western girls.
All right. So there's 1, 2, 3 guitarists.
Yeah,
I want to know
I'm one of those
which
guys.
is Tim.
I'm one
Which
of those
is
guys.
Tim.
I'm one of those guys.
Because like there's 3 guitars, there's no bass. Oh no, that's the bass. My bad. That's a bass. All right. Wait, what is this?
Song's about Carol, don't you know?
Oh wow.
You're too unstable, kicking over chairs and flipping over tables.
Is that a stream bot? This is from Twitch, so I've never seen that before. Because we are like with our show, we are going back to Twitch because our the Monkey King of Zealandia channel got banned for 2 weeks. So yeah. Kesa says, "Don't tell which one is Tim. Which one Tim is. Don't dox him." I think it's actually, to be honest, I feel like he's the robot guy because of Melvin.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, it's this dude. This is Tim here. But the
Yes.
weird thing is Tim's got demon foot, clove foot, so
Yeah,
it doesn't. Yeah.
You can imagine how hard it is for me to find shoes. It's the biggest struggle of my life.
Yeah, this is crazy, dude. I've never been a Gore fan, and I've never owned a Gore record. I've listened to so much music, but I don't know what, but it never really interested me, ever. Kesa says, Tim should ask Shelby about Glenn Danzig. He knows him. Shelby? I love Glenn Danzig. Danzig, I've been a fan of Danzig since like 1989 or something. Because I had the first album, the album with the skull on it, the black skull,
His
or
solo
white
album.
skull.
Yeah,
Yeah, was that his first album?
that was his first solo album. His first band was the Misfits.
Right.
Actually,
Yeah. So
actually he had 2 bands before that. One was called Boo Dot and Jangle, and the other one was called, I forgot what the other one was called, but
yeah, well, I mean, come on, man. Like, it just the whole thing didn't appeal to me because I was like put your t-shirt on, put your black t-shirt on, put your blue jeans on, get on the stage and play guitar. I don't need no freaking effects. Just get up there and do your thing. Play your music, because I'm all about the rawness of music, not the whole what it's become. Like, who can play the fastest? It's like, no, just play and do your thing. Anyway, so here is what should I bring up? Okay, this will do. This is the actually, what's a good clip? Let me see if such a thing as a good clip comes up. If I ask for like, it's only like, actually, here's a cool one. Let's go with this one. So Dominion Tank Police, 1989. When did it actually come out because there is a series, right, that came out afterwards. Yeah, 88 is when it first came out. I think that was a movie. And it was just called Dominion. And it's one of my favorites, man. Like, yeah. Shiro Masamune is the creator. And, of course, he's a guy who did Ghost in the Shell, right, if I remember right. So in a dystopic pollution-ridden future, the tank police fight for law and order and cause massive collateral destruction along the way. Kessa says, I was a grunge guy. We didn't need costumes. Exactly. You just went to the op shop, bought a flannel shirt, and and $2 jeans. And I still do that, by the way, or $5 jeans, depending. Because why waste money on new clothes when you want your clothes to look worn anyway? And by the way, I gave Dominion Tank Police, it was a 6-episode series. It was 35 minutes long each one, and it was from 1988 to 1994 when they released it. I give it a 9 out of 10 on the IMDb thing. So this is a little upscale sample.
You drive them.
Remember, this is all hand drawn and painted.
You done good back in this squad room. That punk was pretty shook up. The chief said he confessed to 7 counts of murder without even being asked.
The chief didn't like the way we got those confessions.
Happens all the time, don't worry about it.
Goes on all the time? I'm gonna make a protest and have the rules changed to make them stop.
Right. I don't approve of torture myself. We're just as bad as the mobsters are sometimes.
Who said anything about torture? It's interrogation. Our men are about the best in the business, and we always get results. Nobody can stand up to tank police questioning.
Lieutenant, we just got an emergency backup call from the SWAT team.
Tell them I'm a bit busy at the moment because I'm teaching some rookie.
Guess this says, and we'll get back to our main broadcast. Tank police, hold on. Dominion Tank Police was either 88 or 89, the 4-part. I saw it around 1991. It was and is awesome. You can watch it on YouTube. Then they did New Dominion Police. Yeah. And so I just saw it before. The entire movie is available on YouTube to watch for free. And I'll give you the link here. So there's a new Dominion Tank Police. It's 4K, by the way. So this is the 4K New Dominion Police. Actually, hold on. Let me bring that up so you get the proper link, because when I did a copy paste, it got me like a whole bunch of jumbled up crap of text. So this is it here. Whoops. 1993's and it's the English dub as well, so you don't have to worry about like stop pressing the wrong freaking things buttons. Here we go. So so it's a 4K English dub, so you don't have to worry about like, oh, you know, it's subtitled. So there's that one. So you can watch that there. And then of course I saw the other one as well. Here we are. So this is also 4K English dub. This is the original. Stop playing. So this is 1989. You get that off there. And this the link for that is here. So you have no reason not to watch these, you know, 2 movies. And of course there's a TV show as well, which is like, oh man. You know, Shiro Masamune, I mean, legend. Both as manga and, you know, with all the what he's left and created for us. Now let's get back to the 20 most must-watch retro, right? Classics. So I don't remember watching this, and it's gonna so yeah. So the Angel's Egg is about, in a desolate world, a young girl devoutly guards an egg of unknown origin and encounters a boy carrying a cross who begins to question the nature of his faith and his mysterious mission. So it's director Mamoru Oshii, who's freaking like legendary in his own right. So he is where is it? The list of his works. Let me jump out of that and just bring you to his work. Mamoru, oh man, like Ghost in the Shell, Innocence, Ghost in the Shell 10, and of course the other thing you guys I haven't mentioned is Pet Labor. You got to watch Pet Labor as well, right? So this is Mamoru Oshii's IMDb. Go check that out. Must watch list of what you got to watch what you have to watch before you. Of course, Blood Sea, right? What's the name? The Last Vampire. You got to watch that.
All right, let's
Right.
let's get on with the list.
All right, let's get the list going. All right, here we go. Because I know we have some friends of ours going to live stream after us, and I want to not, I know it's going to be a 30-minute friggin' intro, so they'll save us that. But let's do this.
It's on this list. A girl carries a large egg.
Oh yeah, by the way, we probably won't get all the way through this, so we'll be back next Friday to continue.
Mamoru Oshii directed Angel's Egg in 1985, and it is one of the most unusual films on this list. A girl carries a large egg through a dark, decaying world. She meets a boy carrying a cross-shaped weapon. They wander through gothic landscapes with barely any dialogue. The film is dense with Christian symbolism it never explains. Oshii himself said the meaning lies inside every viewer. What is undeniable is the art. Yoshitaka Amano handled character designs, and every frame is stunning. The orchestral score perfectly matches the bleak atmosphere. It is not for everyone. Some will find it.
Once again, hand-drawn art.
Some will find it
deeply moving, others pretentious. Both reactions are valid. Royal Space Force: The Wings of Honiamis.
So I've never heard of Royal Space Force. Maybe it's named under something else. So
I've never heard of it either.
These are some really good, interesting, like anime. Royal Space Force. Where are we? The Wings of Hanamase. All right.
It's a 1987 film, and it was Gainax's debut production, years before Evangelion. Set in an alternate world, it follows an aimless young man who joins a neglected space program and works toward the first manned launch. The world building is absurdly detailed, from architecture to currency to politics. Everything feels lived in. The character work is grounded. The budget was massive for its time, and it shows in the animation quality. The soundtrack was composed by Ryuichi Sakamoto, who scored The Last Emperor. The final sequence alone makes it worth watching. Vampire Hunter D is a 1980 cult film set in a post-apocalypse.
Yes. This is a classic. I did a.
Yep.
Yeah. I did a myself and my manga artist on the last tortoise, the tortoise and manga. We did a whole thing about this one last year, and talking about the manga. You guys can actually read our manga, which we're going to bring the print version to Kickstarter soon. Right here, it's available free to read on Webtoons. So if you're watching this on Twitch, please go check it out. It's for free. And it's about two young girls, like two young ladies, over 20s, who go on a overseas adventure, looking for a mystery about a tortoise legend. Just off the top of my head. All right. So Vampire Hunter D is, man, it is one of the greatest vampire.
Yep.
There's Bloodlust, I think, and there is which is the original? I think is it Bloodlust the original? Let's have a look.
I guess so.
Apocalyptic world overrun by vampires. A mysterious half-vampire hunter named D is hired to kill a powerful vampire count. The story is straightforward, but D's internal struggle as a half-vampire, fighting his own nature while saving people who would fear him, adds real depth. Character designs by Yoshitaka Amano give it a distinct visual identity, even if the low budget means the animation is choppy in places. It is a product of its era, with all the charm and roughness that implies. If you enjoyed dark fantasy and gothic horror, this one has kept people coming back for decades. Penguin's Memory came out in 1985.
What?
I watched Vampire Hunter D just last year again for the probably third time or something.
I'm
What were we
not
saying,
gonna watch
Jim?
it now. I said what? Penguin's Memory?
Yeah, I've never heard of that. So this is the thing about these lists, because not only you'll find something that you might find, that you've never heard of, but something that's actually interesting, but also see the art style. And I think that's a great thing about these. That all of these have different art styles, right? And they're all hand drawn, man, like natural, paintings, hand painted cells. And it's just, Vampire Hunter D was 1985. That's 41 years ago.
Yep.
It's crazy, man.
Insane.
But yeah, so that's just one of them. Like, I actually looked, the artwork is, Tomas, who's my manga artist, him and I, we looked at it, the art style of the creator of Vampire Hunter D, right? And just, I think it's Hideyuki Kikuchi is the creator or the artist of the work, and man, his work is just gorgeous. Classic Renaissance style artwork, Victorian, Elizabethan style costumes and stuff, just brilliant. So what was this one? Next one called? Says something. I can't remember the name
Back
of it.
for decades. Penguin's Memory came.
Right. So it's Penguin's Memory. Let me look that up. I've never even heard of this. So that's cool, man. Penguin's Memory. Sayawashi Monogatari. Gotari? All right. So, returning from the Delta War, Mike Davis is left traumatized and adrift in life. Leaving his hometown, he eventually winds up in Lake City and takes up a quiet job in the local library. There he meets Jill, a young woman with dreams of being a professional singer. She's already involved with a young surgeon practicing in her father's hospital, but she finds herself attracted to withdrawn Mike. As she falls in love with him, she tries to break through the wall of sadness Mike has built around himself, but outside forces are conspiring to keep the two lovers apart. So it looks like it's a story about a guy suffering from PTSD. Kesa says, oh yeah, I'm talking about our friend Lord Raptor Jesus, who is supposed to be streaming, but he, like myself, was banned for 2 weeks on YouTube, and we don't know if he's going to be streaming on Rumble. But if you are on Rumble, you can check out his link, his home base, whatever they call it. Let me see if I can find it. It is That's on. Here we go. So here's the link to check out what he's got going on there. This is Lord Raptor's Rumble stream. I've already showed you my music one over there. And let's go on with.
Out in 1985, and yes, it is about penguins, but beneath the simple art style is a film about post-traumatic stress and reintegrating into daily life after war. There is no melodrama. The film takes a quiet, almost meditative approach to its subject, and that restraint is what makes it work. The pacing is slower than modern audiences might expect, but it never drags. It feels like a genuine classic that just never found its audience. The fact that it's so unknown is baffling. Give it a chance if you can find it. Rojin Z, written by...
It's actually got penguins.
Yep. I feel like they should set it to the song Rooster.
Yeah.
They come to snuff the rooster. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Alice in Chains.
Yep.
Song about his dad in the Vietnam War.
Yep, nicknamed Rooster. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was about the guitarist.
Found a way to kill me. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're right. That's kind of like that. I mean, 85, right? 41 years old, but actually, that's not a. Actually, I might suggest that to one of the streams that I follow. It's called. Actually, hold on. I played one of their songs right at his song right at the start, and it is. If I have to go all the way back to the top of the chat. Wow. Okay, hold on. Where is it? His this one. Is it this one? Yeah. So Out of Madness does like these videos with what it's called, like he makes up music like music videos from whatchamacallit, movies to basis to metal songs, right? So I played earlier the House Atomics by a band I'd never heard of, which is Necropanther. And so, but he used Dune visuals from Dune as the video. So yeah. So Kesa says Alice in Chains, Rooster, Jerry Cantrell's dad, who was a machine gunner in Vietnam. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the video actually talks about that right at the start as well.
Yep.
For that music video. So yeah, that's a good recall there, or whatever, a suggestion there. So let me see. Rooster, Alice in Chains. Yeah, so I'll play that for a bit, just so you guys get just a bit about where he talks about it. Stop. Pause. I don't know. Like YouTube on my thing, even if I would pause, it still wants to play straight away. So this is the clip before we go into the next one. I think we're up to about, 8 of the 20. So here's, I think this one here talks straight, at the start, my dad and such it. So I'll just play that a little bit.
Papa and I never really talked about the war at all. I asked him about it one time. You asked us about it. That's the main thing. I remember we were sitting on the porch drinking beer, and I had, I think it was summertime or something, and I asked him a question. Sometimes you think, what the hell are we doing here, right? I'm watching my friends die. And he just said, that's dead. So I'm just let it be. It's a weird experience, okay? And a sad experience. And I just hope nobody else has to go through it. Yeah.
So that was that's the intro I wanted to play, which we suggested by co-host.
Yes.
In regards, Tim, in regards to this movie here, which it was about Penguin returning from war. Yeah, I gotta watch this movie because it sounds really interesting, right? So this one here, yeah, talking about PTSD and war with cute-looking friggin' penguins, blue penguins. That's crazy. So yeah, it's from 1985. And moving along to number 10, and this will be our last one. Do I have some? I thought I had somebody. No, I don't have. Okay, so it's talking in the stream.
Rojin Z, written by Katsuhiro Otomo in 1991, is a satirical sci-fi film about an aging population crisis. The government develops a fully automated hospital bed that handles every
This is this is really crazy, this sci-fi one. I must have watched it last year or the year before. Like everything melds into like yesterday or day before for me. just getting older. At 53 this year in May, I'm like, I can't remember what year I watched this something in, but this is this is really, really cool. You got to watch this one. I gave it an 8 out of 10 on IMDb when I watched it. It's a sad story about how we treat elderly people. You know, like I'm like 53, so I'm going to be elderly. I'm already kind of like there, but like in another, 15 years, whatever, I'll be 78, 68 or something, 78, 68. And, anyway, so there's a story about a compassionate young nurse is determined to help an elderly invalid strapped to a revolutionary health care bed, but there are unexpected consequences. Okay, so it says, Tim and I are making an anime that's about ducks with PTSD. It's called Asmat.
Yes. It also covers duck fascism.
So it's kind of like lighthearted compared to what we're about to see with Rodent Z.
It's about a duck, a soldier returning from the ban zone after he's committed many atrocities.
It's going to be ducks instead of penguins, right?
Yes.
All right. So this is Rodent Z.
Rojin Z, written by Katsuhiro Otomo in 1991, is a satirical sci-fi film about an aging population crisis. The government develops a fully automated hospital bed that handles every patient need, and predictably, things go wrong. It is sharp satire aimed at healthcare systems, the treatment of the elderly, and blind faith in technology, but it is also genuinely funny. Otomo's sensibility keeps it from becoming preachy. It balances social commentary with enough absurdity to stay entertaining throughout. It is one of those rare films that has become more relevant with time. The 1996...
It is a... it makes me... It's enjoyable. It's funny. It's got everything you need. You can enjoy, that you think about when you watch anime, but it's also deep. And like you said, with the whole healthcare system and stuff like that, it's it gets pretty dark as well, which is, but it always is entertaining. And I think, I recommend watching that. Like I said, I gave it, what did I give it on IMDb? 8 out of 10. Here's actually the actual trailer for it. Let me just bring up my IMDb. Share screen. I'm Project Z. Here you go. So this is the nurse here.
May I welcome you to this demonstration which marks a breakthrough in public care for the elderly. Let me demonstrate. The dreaded bath time. Excretion. Disposal. It has a built-in electrocardiograph and electroencephalogram. It monitors body temperature, pulse, blood pressure, and respiratory patterns. It will administer appropriate medication, give oxygen, nozzle-to-mouth resuscitation, or cardiac massage. When it has exhausted its medical skills, it will transmit information to the family doctor, the hospital, or the mortuary.
There's one man you haven't said a word about so far. About him. What about Mr. Takazawa? Look, it's from Mr. Takazawa. Yes, it's him. When I volunteered to look after him, I made a commitment. I can't desert him.
Let's go.
35 years old. Classic. So, Kessa says, you know what the secret to not becoming elderly is? Clint Eastwood told Morgan Freeman, no matter how tired you feel, don't let old men in to take over. Don't let the old men in. So yeah, I think sometimes like I said, I'm 43, right? Oh, that's great. So yeah, it'll be on Sunday night. So that is 2 days from now. Okay, so because today's Saturday for me. So it'll be Monday when he's live. Okay. For me, that is. Do you know what time? We're talking about Raptor, Lord Raptor Jesus. Is that when he comes back from his 2-week ban, like me? Being 53, right? In age, like my body's 53. And, you know, I had a car accident when I was 20, in 2007. Yeah, mid 2007, I had a car accident. And so ever since, I have had to walk with a cane and so on. Like every other part of my body works fine, but I have to walk with a cane because my hip, my spine, I should say, not my hip, my spine, there's holes in it between like the cartilage. There's holes in the cartilage between the spine bones, right? So, and also the neck injury. So my body feels old and tired and sore all the time, like 24/7, right? So I'm always medicated. But mentally, my head, like my brain, has never like stopped being 20 years old or 30 years old, whatever. It's never like, I don't think like a 50-year-old. And this is the thing, like, I think what KSS is saying that, you know, here with, where is it gone? I just hit it up. Yeah. Not to let the old man in. I think there was like 100 retired CEOs. I think it's like maybe in the 20s, or I remember reading this. Somebody was talking about it. I was reading there was like 100 CEOs were interviewed, and they said, you know, what do you think? Like something about like, you know, what's your advice? And he said, well, they said like, don't ever tell your brain or yourself that you're retired, because once you say you're retired, you start believing it, and so you're mentally and physically your body starts shutting down. And that's why you see a lot of elderly people. I mean, not a lot, but you see a lot of elderly people who are very energetic and very in it, you know, into it. And then you see the other side where there's just the people around the same age who are just not there mentally, right? So it's kind of like they've given out, I guess, given up. Tim, what's the time there now for you?
It's 9:54.
Right. So it'll be around about 5:30 New Zealand time, I think, when he goes live then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So because right now it's actually almost 6 minutes to 5.
We've almost been like straight on air for about 3 hours.
And this is where we're going to stop. We'll come back next week and we'll continue with number 11 on our
countdown.
Our countdown of the best 20. So yeah, and this is going to be the new show on our Friday, Saturday, right? Friday America, Saturday New Zealand, where we do the arts show. And
sounds good.
And not only just anime and stuff, we're going to look at comic books. I've got a whole bunch of stuff we're going to be looking at. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for KSS for hanging out with us. Is there a stream that's coming up that you can look at? But here's one that you can go and check out. Let me just get the link for that from yesterday with this Rennie Drawers we're talking about earlier. If you have, if you want something comic book. Oh, stop playing that. Comic book related. So this is it here to check out. And I'll get you the face of that. stream and as we go out. So thank you for hanging out with us on this new show, the art show. Something a bit more chill, a bit more relaxed and joy filled, right? Enjoyment. So yeah, go check out Rennie's stream from yesterday. It was pretty cool. About writing, about not worrying about rejection, I guess, would be the main thing, and just enjoying and releasing your work to the world. Kessa says, keep busy, don't stop doing stuff, use your brain and imagination, have a purpose, and don't let the old man in. Exactly. Don't say to yourself, oh, I'm old now, I can't do this, can't do that.
Always act immature.
Right. Oh, Tim.
What?
Before we go, do you want to talk about Retro X?
Yes, Retro X will be June 12th and the 13th in Idaho Falls. I will be there at least on the 12th. I won't be there on the 13th.
There we go. So there's a link for that. Do check that out. He's going there on June? And of course, next week. Yeah. And of course, next week is our good friends from Borgia, Texas. Their Boomtown. And we didn't finish all of it, but we'll, it is next weekend, guys. So do check that out. Because it's artists putting on convention for artists. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching us and watching the stream. If you are on, if you're able to, please hop over to our YouTube channel and give us a like, share, subscribe, and all that stuff to keep the algorithms, as people say, working for us. There it is on the stream. If you're, especially if you're over in Twitch or on Twitter. All right. So with that being said, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tim, once again, my co-host.
Yep.
Thank you, chat. Thank you, KSS, for your input. Really appreciate it, man. Bye for now, everybody. Ka kite anō. See you on the flip side. Wherever you are, be well, be safe, and have a good life and good day, evening, week.
Yep.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Nope. Can't stay here anymore. I gotta get back. I think this was the spot. Oh Lord, I beseech thee, please return me to my old life. I swear I'll do anything. Like, literally anything. And I won't bother you again, so pretty please bring me back to life.